Sonabombananga.
The Premier is calling for calm, is calling for dialogue, and is calling for the violence and the destruction of property and facilities at Fort Hare to stop.
KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi has urged Parliament to look into forensic investigator Paul O'Sullivan and his involvement in what he calls questionable police dealings. Mkhwanazi has also accused O'Sullivan of holding clandestine meetings to discuss independent police investigative directorate business with the police watchdog's former head, Robert McBride. Mkhwanazi made the revelations during his last day of testimony before Parliament's ad hoc committee, which is investigating police corruption. Babalondense reports.
Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's testimony yesterday also touched on how even the police watchdog IPID faced interference from outside. EFF leader Julius Malema had asked Mkhwanazi if Paul O'Sullivan was one of the rogue elements that are destabilizing the police. Mkhwanazi responded by saying O'Sullivan had a vested interest in the country's ports of entry, like the OR Tambo International Airport. O'Sullivan was arrested at the airport in 2016 for contravening the Immigration Act after he was found in possession of 3 passports.
He's got citizenship in 3 countries, and that makes me wonder.
Mkhwanazi said O'Sullivan also yielded influence over IPID.
How they engage in terms of investigation. I'm saying this to the members because it is that which Mr. Nkabinde told me, who's now a chief of staff at the office of the minister, that operations of IPID were planned, coordinated and executed at Paul O'Sullivan's house.
Mkhwanazi invited Parliament to look at McBride's tenure as head of IPID and how they were interacting with O'Sullivan, as well as their movements. Babalondense, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And Ethiopia has accused Eritrea of preparing to wage war against it in collusion with an opposition group. This is the latest sign of escalating tensions between the two neighbors over control of the Red Sea. Ethiopia's accusation is contained in a letter sent by its foreign minister to UN Chief Antonio Guterres, warning that the collusion has become more evident over the past few months. Eritrea has not commented on the letter, but its relationship with Ethiopia has become increasingly strained in recent months. Ethiopia has been rallying support to regain access to the Red Sea, causing alarm in Eritrea as it took control of the coastline at independence in 1993. Both nations fought for control of the border town of Badme from 1998 to the year 2000, causing the deaths of tens of thousands of people. Gold is trading at $4,026.85 an ounce. The rand is at 17.16 to the dollar, 23.02 to the pound, 19.98 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $65.87 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the M1 North already between Boysons Road and the Crown Interchange. Peak time pressure piling up there. There's also queuing traffic on the Golden Highway approaching the N1 exit due to roadworks.
And in your sport, Egypt beat Djibouti with 2 Mo Salah goals to book their place at next year's FIFA World Cup. While at the Under-20 World Cup, South Africa has been knocked out by Colombia 3-1. And at the Women's Cricket World Cup today, Proteas women are playing India at 11:30.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with scattered afternoon showers expected. Johannesburg starting at 13 degrees, peaking at 28. Pretoria 14 and 31. Vereeniging 11 and 28 degrees as well. The top story in EWN this hour. Israel and Hamas have agreed to the first significant phase of a ceasefire that's aimed at ending the Gaza war that has killed more than 67,000 Palestinians, razed the territory to the ground, and unleashed a major humanitarian crisis.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
6 after 6, it remains to be seen whether or not that ceasefire agreement signed between Israel and Hamas will hold. We're keeping an eye on the violence at the Fort Hare University campus in the Eastern Cape. 2 buildings set on fire there. I don't care what your protest is about, particularly when it comes to educational institutions. The minute you burn things, you've lost my support, you've lost my vote. I don't care how noble you think your cause is. My name is Bongani Bingwa. Welcome to 702 Breakfast. I'm not alone. I've got a team of colleagues with me as always. Amo Ramela is here for traffic and so much more. Good morning, Amo.
Good morning, Bongs. Morning 702 Landers.
Muteo Hare is also here with business news and, yes, so much more.
And a pesky question.
Coming up, no doubt. Rafiwa and Siamtanda are the producers taking your calls. We've got Karabo, we've got KG, we've got Cindy Paluta giving you everything you need to know in the world of sport and what perhaps you don't want to know about Amajita, but that's to come. And, of course, the usual features. Adam Gilchrist, we'll speak to him. Kabazela, we'll speak to him. And Sfisa Zulu will tell you everything you need to know in the news.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
7 after 6. You ever think there's a way to do business and there's a way not to do business? Our first interview this morning is with GroundUp. We do this every second Thursday. We speak to the investigative outfit. They do incredible work without a paywall, without any advertising. They rely entirely on donations. One of their stories is about pensioners in Limpopo. Listen to this. They were having their SASSA grant monies deducted for funeral cover. Just, you are deducting a premium from people whose only source of income is a SASSA grant. You don't think there's a way to do business and there's a way not to do business. To add insult to injury, these pensioners say, these people spoke to us in English, in big English. We didn't know what they were asking us to do. We never agreed to these things. Well, thankfully, that situation has been resolved and there have been some refunds. We'll also talk to them about the chaos in the Department of Social Development in Gauteng. Surprise, surprise. So imagine this. You've always applied for grants in a particular way. 2 weeks before you are meant to close applications, they tell you that their new fancy system, which requires you to log into some portal and submit documents, is not working. It's not. 2 weeks before. So you were a good boy. You were a good girl. You applied maybe 2-3 weeks before, 4 weeks before. You went into that portal, submitted all your documents. You think, Bob's your uncle, it's all done. Now you've got to go send in an email because it turns out the portal doesn't quite work. Who got the tender, I wonder? Oh, you think that's comedic enough? Let me tell you what our big interview is going to be about. Now, Amo, you like drama, don't you? You like drama?
I do.
Mateo, you like drama?
A little bit.
You little bit. Listen to this. Hospital inspection. Remember when we were at school and the inspectors were coming?
Took me back there, actually,
right?
yes.
It happens for hospitals. Ne? The inspectors come to random hospital, right? The blue hospital, shall we call it. Everything looks perfect. The machines that are there, tip-top shape, right? They're in place and in tip-top shape. Even the documents, the file, they're all nicely placed there. This is now at the blue hospital, yeah? Then they go to the yellow hospital and they see exactly the same, hey? KG, how sharp, man. Like everything is as lekker brew. And then when they get to the green hospital, somebody says, wait a minute. They've been seeing the same things, the same equipment. So
you inspect the hospital.
Yes.
You find machinery there.
Sharp.
The very next one you go to the same machinery.
Same machines. After maybe the third or fourth, they inspect. Yeah, man. It's too similar. No, man. You know, South Africa is a movie, right? And don't take my word for it. We're going to be speaking to Dr. Sipiwe Mdaweni, who is the CEO of the Office of Health Standards Compliance. They're the ones who are raising the flag. So they're the inspectors, essentially. They're the ones who go and check if these hospitals are complying with whatever standards have been set. And they are like, guys, no, man. I mean, okay, I'm probably giving you the exaggerated perspective. I'm hoping, maybe I'm naive, I'm hoping it's 1 or 2 machines, but the point is there's been some borrowing going on so that when the inspectors come, everything is the same. Or is borrow us your machines, man. Next week, they're coming to us. And of course, as you might imagine, we might want to hear from the Department of Health to say, what in the ventilator is going on? Right? What in the ventilator is going on? We'll speak to Dr. Nicholas Crisp, who's the Deputy Director General in the Department of Health, specifically focused on national health insurance. And this is really what the scam is about. It's to pretend these hospitals are ready for NHI when it would appear at the very least they've got some challenges to still overcome. And then we'll tell you about Africa's biggest hip-hop festival. That's just before 9.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
12 minutes after 6, if you're listening to us and you've just joined us, welcome to the program wherever you are listening to us from. Whether you're in Rustenburg or Randburg, Kempton Park, I know we have 1 or 2 people there. Bryanston, Lenasia. Are you in Protea Glen? Are you in Mufulo? Are you in Meadowlands? Are you in Ekurhuleni? Right? You might have a new mayor. Remember earlier in the week, Uzonitola. Oh, it's a Thursday. I'm too happy. Ne? It's a Thursday. I'm too happy. Okay, here we go. Here's our shout out this morning. What is that one skill or ability that you have? I'm talking about something quite arbitrary. So it could be, knitting perhaps, or sewing. And you are so good at this thing, you wish there was a competition. You wish there could be a competition where you could show your ability to braid hair. Right? What's that one thing you are so good at?
Or to straighten the bed.
So don't tell me you want to be in a cooking competition. There's lots of cooking competitions. I mean, I've won 1 or 2 in my time. So no cooking. Mm-hmm. Just an ob skill.
I don't know if my one is an ob skill really, but it's talking. I can talk. You're a stranger, I will talk to you, and I'll talk to you until you feel like, or you at least I will see in your face that, okay, the person is not tired of my talking. I know you personally, it's even worse for you. I feel sorry for the person who sits next to me at our newsroom because...
You haven't met my kids.
Yeah.
You haven't met my kids.
Listen, them and I would get along like a house on fire because I also love feeding off the energy. If I can see that you are enjoying this,
you're into it.
Oh my goodness, we dance. It's
one of those where we raise eyebrows when All right, that's fine. I asked Jacob Mashukwa, our colleague down in the Western Cape earlier, and he says nobody washes a car like he can.
Yeah, he says he's got different buckets.
I've got cloths for this. I've got buckets for this. I know what to use for the body, for the tires, for the rims, for the windows, for the and you can feel the passion, right, when he talks about it. Mateo?
I would say 2 things. One would be knots and crosses.
No way.
I wish there was a World
No
Cup.
way. I'll bring my noughts and crosses set tomorrow.
Okay.
We're going to play live.
Let's go.
Aye. Noughts and crosses.
I took on the newsroom a few weeks ago.
Ish. And I don't even feel myself being competitive.
You are so competitive.
Just jumped at that opportunity.
Moth to a flame, burnt by the fire. Noughts and crosses, yeah?
The other is reaching for stuff. Obviously, because I'm tall.
Yeah.
It's
all right,
an
I
up
can
skill,
see that.
yeah.
I can see that. It is an upskill. All right. We'll take your WhatsApp voice notes on 072-702-1702. You are not going to believe the reason we're asking that question.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
On a far more serious note, of course, that we're keeping an eye on the developments in that ad hoc committee in Parliament looking at all sorts of ills within the police force. And yesterday, once again, the KZN Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Mandla Mandela, was really dealing with a lot of issues and really ironing out some of the difficulties he has had to encounter. Particularly, of course, he mentioned the disbanding of that political killings task team. And it went on late into the night. I think I switched off when they were about to go for a break This was about 7:30 or towards 8 in the evening. And I was like, it's my bedtime, honey. And they were like, we're going for a break. We'll come back. And I just thought, you are easy. If you, like me, didn't stay up for all of it, we thought we'll bring you some of the highlights.
When we do investigations, at times we are triggered by something. The letter of the minister to disestablish the team in 31 of December 2024, it made us to ask questions as to the why part. And so as a police officer, you then go back and you start investigating. Where does this come from? What led into this? What led into that? And you start connecting the dots. And then we start realizing that the person seems to be in the center of the trouble here is Johannesburg. And then we went deeper to try and understand exactly who is this fellow we're talking about? What makes him to be like this? That's how then we track back into how he came into the organization. So eventually we established that the organization deliberately, after dismissing him, and he made an appeal in court, the same organization that dismissed him, they did not oppose his appeal. And subsequent to that is given an order to come back.
This is Lieutenant General Mandla Mandela speaking on the second day of Parliament's ad hoc committee into corruption allegations within the police. He did not spare the police minister Senzo Mchunu in his criticism for the decision to disband the political killings task team.
Minister, with the 6 months of being in the service, I think within the 6 months he had visited Western Cape province more than twice. And in that 6 months he had visited Eastern Cape more than twice. I'm not sure about other provinces, but he had never visited KZN in that whole 6 months to engage with the management of KZN, to understand policing in KZN. To date, I don't even think the Minister of Police knows about all the units that exist in the police. This is a monster of a department. Almost 200,000 personnel strong, stretched in the land and breadth of his country. The reality is he knows consciously deep down in his heart that to date, I don't think the minister knows even 30% of what the police does.
Wow, right? I mean, it's self-explanatory. I don't even need to say anything after that.
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Somebody who knows a lot about business and what the economy does is Muteo Hare, and you've got a question of your own this morning.
Yeah, I want to know this morning, Bongs, from you and 702 Landers, what's that one brand you'd be sad to see disappear?
Ooh, a brand. There's so many. Jacob's Coffee.
They can't go anywhere.
Yeah, no, they must stay.
Would that change your
Jacob's
routine
Coffee
somehow?
must stay. Please.
Your mornings wouldn't be the same.
Please, man. Jacob's must stay.
Amo?
Blue Seal Vaseline. I would hate to see that brand.
Specifically, or any Vaseline.
No, specifically Blue Seal Vaseline.
But what's the difference? Have you tried other Vaselines?
I have, and yeah, I prefer my Blue Seal, Bongani. Yeah, the texture is different from the others.
Really?
Yes, it is.
So you don't want no-name brand Vaseline?
No. I prefer my Blue Seal Vaseline.
I remember the ad when I was a kid. Vaseline Blue Seal. Amo says, keep please, man.
Yeah.
Ne? My Vaseline Blue Seal. All right. What brand would you be sad to see disappear?
Yeah.
I'm so curious about what prompts the question.
702.
Weather.
Let's talk about what conditions you can expect on this Thursday. It's 20 after 6. Joburg temperature starting at 13 degrees. Your high will be 28. That's the same for Enaching. Pretoria max is at 31. Cape Town, a fine day expected there, a high of 30 degrees. And just by the way, take note, there will be scattered showers in the afternoon expected in Gauteng. The maximum for Bloemfontein is 29. It's 24 for Durban, 21 for Gqeberha, 23 for East London, and 32 for Kimberley.
EWN Traffic.
Our first traffic update for the morning, Amo.
Well, Bongani, we've got delays in Turina along the Golden Highway towards the N1 exit, and that's due to the long-term roadworks taking place along this route. Please be patient and drive with care. If you are traveling in Kelvin, more roadworks are taking place on the N3 North, and they are causing delays between Marlborough Drive and the Baklu interchange. If you're traveling along the N3 North towards the Kiluli's turnoff in the Bedfordview area, do expect some delays there. Peak time pressure piling up. I'll have more updates for you, but if you come across anything else, we're on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 702.
Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
Bongani. It's technology. Technology, Bongani. Leave the hospital alone. Everything is top notch. Same machine. Yeah. Indeed, South Africa is a movie.
Yes, Bongani. I can see your mood, man, today, and then I'm like you're full of fun, man. Today it's like it's Friday. Everybody's happy in the studio. I'm very, very happy, man. Cheers, man. Nice show as usual.
It's Friday Eve, hey? It's Friday Eve. There's something about after Wednesday, it's on. You know, after Wednesday, it's on.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
All right, 23 after 6. Our shout out this morning. We're looking for that arbitrary skill, that ability you're convinced you can beat anyone against hands down. So if there was a competition for something you are weirdly good at, what would that competition be for you? What would make you take home and I don't want the usual. I mean, there's lots of dancing and singing competitions. I want to know about your hidden superpower that you reckon you are the world champion in.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
All right, things you need to know at this hour. Here's a question. How far do you think government should go in regulating religious matters or even organizations? How far should it go to step in to prevent abuse or even fraud? Or do you think separate church and state, as some have argued, stay completely out of church affairs? Yesterday, a number of church leaders across the country marched at the Union buildings in Pretoria, and they were protesting the CRL Rights Commission's new Section 22 committee, which they claim is unconstitutional and is attempting to control religion. This committee, led by Professor Musaqulu, you remember we spoke to him as the cultural expert a little earlier on in the week, and the idea is to promote accountability within faith-based institutions. And my view is simply that any organization that is registered within the laws of the land needs to ascribe to those laws. It's as simple as that. No organization, I don't care what your calling may be in your head, should be above the law. What are your thoughts? Who would you want to collaborate with? Santaco and the Metered Taxi and E-Hailing Association are partnering with Bolt, Taxi Ride and Schumer Ride to enhance safety and collaboration in the transport industry under new government regulations. So they're at least having talks about this, and it's all to do with driver and passenger safety. Adam Gilchrist is going to tell us about the 2025 winner of this, Mateo, the 2025 World Porridge Making Championship. Yes.
Umtogo.
Yeah.
Umtogo.
There is a competition to make porridge, and there is a champion. It's a whole thing. It's won by a Norwegian, a first-time competitor. So he's been actually looking at this thing, thinking, oh, I want to enter that. I can do well. His name is Sven Saljom. He won the Golden Spurtle Trophy by adding his own twist to the porridge. His is made use Norwegian black oats with sea salt and water. Norwegian black oats. There were 30 competitors representing 14 countries, including the US, Canada, Norway, Australia, Pakistan, the Philippines, and Finland. He won the World Porridge Making Championship. Hence, I ask you, What is that arb skill that you think, man, if there was a competition for this, nobody wipes glasses better than I do? It could be something as random as that, because clearly people have nothing to do with their time, hey? President Cyril Ramaphosa has set up a new panel to find the successor to the outgoing National Director of Public Prosecutions, Advocate Shamila Batoy, whose term ends in January 2026. I think her tenure at the NPA will be remembered likely as the most unspectacular. No World Championship competitions to be won by her there. Sharon Osbourne was born on this day in 1952. She's best known as a reality TV star, but also the wife of the rock and roller Ozzy Osbourne. You'll remember her, of course, in The X Factor, America's Got Talent, and she also helped revive Ozzy's career by launching Ozfest and has worked as a TV panelist and author. So Ozzy Osbourne was well into his success as a rock and roller before meeting Sharon, and when she came into his life, she took him out of the stratosphere. Wouldn't it be lovely?
702.
The newspapers.
Everybody needs a Sharon. Hey, Sfisa?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
What's getting your attention in the papers?
Good morning, Bongani. It's a story in the U.S. from the News Journal. The News Journal is part of the USA Today network. They're talking about something that's quite familiar with residents of the city of Johannesburg, and they are looking at abandoned buildings in Delaware. And these are not just any buildings. These are buildings that are still owned by companies that used to run factories in that state and in that area. And they're wondering, what do we do with abandoned buildings in cities, in towns? And of course, in the city of Johannesburg, the one solution is to go to low-cost housing, because there are a lot of people who come into the city. But what other solutions are there, especially with these buildings that were used as factories before? Do you revive them to use them as factories to create other productions or to produce other stuff so that you can create employment? Or do you just continue with the solutions of low-cost housing and accommodating people who need housing? So how do you deal with abandoned buildings in major cities?
The front page of The Citizen: Road Fund's 10 million rand waste. A whistleblower claims executives at the Road Accident Fund inflated invoices and dodged the rules to get personal benefits, including hotel stays and booze. We told you amapanyaza are illegal. General Mkwanazi lifting the lid on the creation of the Gauteng Prevention Wardens, saying it's unlawful. I said as much in 2023, and of course they tried to retrofit them into being the same as traffic officers, but they were illegal. Anglo chief blames policy. SA misses the boat because it's not exploration friendly. This is the CEO of Anglo American on the front page of the Business Day.
EWN Business.
29 after 6. Business news, Mateo. You want to know what's that one brand we'd all be sad to see disappear? Amo is certain she wants to, please, man, keep my Vaseline blue seal. I say Jacobs must stay. What prompts the question?
Pharmaceutical giant Johnson & Johnson has been slapped with a hefty fine after the company was found liable in the latest trial alleging its talc products cause cancer. A Los Angeles jury ordered the company to pay $966 million, or 16.5 billion rand, to the family of a woman who died from the mesothelioma. That is a form of cancer. The family of May Moore, a California resident who died at age 88 in 2021, sued the company in the same year, claiming J&J's talc baby powder contained asbestos fibers that cause her rare cancer. Now, talc is the world's softest mineral. It is widely used as an ingredient in cosmetic and personal care products, and as well as industrial applications like ceramics. Now, the jury ordered J&J to pay $16 million in compensatory damages and $950 million in punitive damages.
That wouldn't sink them. I mean,
except Bongani, they're facing another 70,000 claims for the same thing. So what they've been trying to do is file for bankruptcy so that they could raise around $10 billion and settle the
70,000.
The 70,000 claims.
Yeah, but if you've seen Amo get $1 billion.
If you see one person get $1 billion,
you also want $1 billion.
That could sink you. very quickly.
So that could sink Johnson & Johnson, hey?
Very, very quickly. Yeah, I mean, they reported sales of $23 billion just now, releasing their results, but that still wouldn't be enough.
Do you think Diddy's ordering
Bongani.
Johnson & Johnson products when he comes out?
There's the markets to think about.
Where's the rand?
Rand at 17 Rand 16 cents against the US dollar, 19 Rand 98 cents against the euro, and 23 Rand 1 cent against the British pound. Price of gold at $4,031 an ounce, while platinum is at $1,655. Brent crude at $65.87 a barrel. More business after 7.
Up next, we speak to GroundUp, doing fantastic investigative journalism. In the meantime, Sfiso Zulu, what you got?
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. The Equal Education Law Centre has raised concerns about child abuse cases that are going unreported. The organisation has commented after the South African Council for Educators took 36 teachers off the register for illegal and unethical offences committed against children. Another 70 educators have been found guilty of serious misconduct and received fines, including assaulting children. Organisation Equal Education Law says there are many barriers that make it difficult for learners to report abuse and misconduct, including fear of retaliation, lengthy investigation periods, and a lack of hope in the justice system. Child protection expert Daniel Al-Nadaf says more needs to be done to protect children.
One of the key blockages that we experience is in the linkages between the reporting process at the perspective of SACE and at the point of the school and the investigation procedures that are supposed to take place.
The Basic Education Department says it has initiated a review of systems behind its employment initiative after setbacks and delays disrupted the recent stipend payments for education assistance. Thousands of candidates were affected by the delays, which officials attributed to challenges in verifying attendance registers and processing payments through implementing partners. Minister Sivyo Kwahube says the review being conducted is aimed at strengthening oversight and ensuring that the program is adequately resourced, properly supervised and supported by a reliable payment system.
The department, together with our partners, we are reviewing the program's internal governance to ensure that the program is adequately resourced, properly supervised and supported by reliable systems. Going forward, the BEI program will be a standing item in all our high-level meetings to ensure that there's timeless reminder that is sent to all schools to remind them to upload their attendance registers on time.
The city of Ekurhuleni says it hopes to maintain the stability it has managed to restore at an illegal trading zone in Brakpan. The area, widely known as Plastic City, has been illegally occupied for more than a decade. Makeshift structures, some serving as people's homes, were put by illegal miners, and city spokesperson Zweli Dlamini says the metro has evicted the occupants to stop violent clashes between rival Zamazama groups.
We've had to deal with informal traders who are actually illegal immigrants at the same time. You will see that there is a lot of mining operations that are taking place here. You find that there is a shack, and the shack inside is actually an entrance hall into the defunct mining shaft, which is just next to us here.
And Ethiopia has accused Eritrea of preparing to wage war against it in collusion with an opposition grouping. This is the latest sign of escalating tensions between the two neighbors over control of the Red Sea. Ethiopia's accusation is contained in a letter sent by its foreign minister to UN Chief Antonio Guterres, warning that the collusion has become more evident over the past few months. Eritrea has not yet commented on the letter, but its relationship with Ethiopia has become increasingly strained in recent months. Ethiopia has been rallying support to regain access to the Red Sea, causing alarm in Eritrea as it took control of the coastal line at independence in 1993. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with showers expected. The temperatures are at lows of 11 and 14 degrees, peaking at highs between 28 and 31.
Roadworks are causing delays on the N3 North. This is between Marlborough Drive and the Baklu interchange. While travelling on the N1 South from the Midrand area, do expect delays approaching Olifantsfontein Road.
The top story this hour: the Equal Education Law Centre has raised concern about child abuse cases that are going unreported.
Time for a performance review of my FNP Gold business account. Giving my business up to 30% back in e-bucks at Pick and Pay. No other card does this. It's real money back on expenses. I can even use e-bucks to buy supplies from Take-A-Lot. I must give you a corner office, but you're a bank card.
The FNB Gold Business Account. No other card works harder for your business because saving you costs is worth it. FNB. Help changes everything. TCs and earn rules apply. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider.
Alarm goes off, but silently. And now you're late for everything. Leave. Cancel the day before you leave.
I knew it.
1 tick, 2 ticks, blue tick. Hectic.
Yeah, I'm going to need a mac and cheese.
Adulting is hard. Instead of curling up or crashing out, try the new Nando's mac and cheese with delicious cheesy bechamel sauce, topped with crispy peri crumble. Get it as a side with any meal or by itself, because you're just a baby.
The stage, the lights, the crowd, everything's perfect until suddenly someone slips on the dance floor. A speaker lands in the buffet. In an instant, your masterpiece is a mess. That's why Auto & General is there with events liability insurance. We handle the unexpected so you don't have to. Plan the party, wow the guests, leave the rest to us. For more information on events liability insurance, visit autogen.co.za. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
You're with Bongani Bingwa on 702.
Taking your calls on 011-883-0702.
Taking your calls on 011-883-0702. Amos, you are calling us from Hammanskraal. Good morning.
Good morning, Bongani.
Wait, go ahead, Amos. Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, Bongani. I just want to inform you of what is happening in the Department of Health. You know, we, as managers working for the Department of Health, we are really, really frustrated, I promise you.
Yeah.
You know, there was a circular that was released that informed us not to acquire any equipment, any essential equipment. We are really, really frustrated. I tell you now that in my institution, there's only one BP machine for more than 500 patients coming to the clinic on daily basis.
This is to measure blood pressure, yeah?
Yes, yes.
Sure.
So if I can tell you now that we don't have essential equipment like a basic equipment that we need to run the facility, like a photocopying machine. You know, we have to run around, use our own money to go make copies for the documents that we use on daily basis, like sick notes, referral notes, transport forms. And if we don't have money, we go to the nearest schools to request for copies. So it's very, very, very difficult for money to work for the Department of Health. You know what we do when these assessments come?
Yeah.
We go borrow each other equipment, because if we happen to fail the assessment, we are being labeled as incompetent. So, and you know, you worry because as a manager, you worry of your job, because now disciplinary steps will be taken against you if you don't pass those assessments. So that's why we have to, you know, run around, borrow.
But
equipment
surely, Amos, if for example, you started this call by saying there was a circular that you weren't allowed to buy any new equipment, surely there's an inventory of the equipment any facility has. How are you as a manager or a group of officials to blame for that?
Yes, we are being blamed, Bongani, because the equipment that we have, it's not even serviced, because, you know, the equipment that we had years ago, it's broken now, and we need the new equipment just to ensure that the patients receive the basic services. But now, the problem is that now, because of that Circular 34 of 2024, we are requested not to acquire this essential equipment, and it's really, really frustrating.
I can well
to
imagine.
work for the Department of Health.
Do you
As I
think?
tell you
Do you
now,
think, Amos, we are ready for NHI?
I don't think so, Bongani. The way the things are happening now, I don't think we are ready.
All right, appreciate your call. Amos calling us there in Hammanskraal. We're talking, of course, about the interview that is to come after 7 o'clock. Hospitals essentially borrowing each other equipment to pass inspections. So the inspectors come to the yellow hospital and they find, oh, it's amazing, everything's great. And then they go to the green hospital and they think, hang on, this looks familiar. And by the time they go to the blue hospital, they go, no, guys, it's the same equipment, right down to even documents. That's all to come.
Good morning, Bongani. Bongani, that means they were carrying this stuff. Yo, what an overtime. They were carrying this stuff through their trucks, quickly moving to another hospital and putting that equipment there. I'm sure the other hospital were shocked. What's going on now? We're getting a new machinery. 2 minutes after they've left, the machinery goes away as well. But even the inspectors themselves, I don't think their heads are right. Even them, we should look at them. Why do you tell? Why do you tell where you're going?
EWN Sport.
18 minutes before 7 o'clock, the other conversation we're having, there's the 2025 World Porridge Championship. 14 countries, 30 participants. Adam Gilchrist is going to tell us who won and what their special recipe or ingredient was. But Cindy Paluta has just walked in. Cindy, I want to know from you, do you have an ARB skill, something that you are so good at, you think, gosh, if there was a competition for this, I'd win? Jacob Mashukwa says, for him, nobody washes a car better than he does.
Oh.
He says he's got sponges and special buckets for wheels, for the rims, for the... He says, sweetie, don't come and wash a car next to me because you will lose. What's that for you?
Oh, this is a tough one. I actually don't.
Knitting?
I mean, anyone can knit.
Not everyone can knit.
No, it's not a special skill. I can only knit one stitch. I can't knit a jersey. No. There, I will say I will gladly bow down to anybody else in the city. Absolutely
But
not.
maybe you
no.
can knit, I don't know, a puppet or something.
No.
Some ARB skill.
No.
All right. Let's talk
If I
about...
could knit more than a scarf, I promise you now, I'd be doing it for a living.
Let's talk about what you're really here for.
Right. FIFA
Anything
will...
to distract us from the result last night?
Yes. So let's start with the other results.
Okay.
FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Egypt beating Djibouti 3-0. Salah scoring twice as they've booked their spot at next year's event. 9 African sides will qualify. Already through as well as Morocco and Tunisia. Cape Verde fought from 3-1 down to draw 3-0 with Libya, edging closer to a first ever World Cup qualification. Ghana's 5-0 win over Central African Republic means they just need 1 point from their last match. So I think the result you're speaking about is the Under-20 World Cup. In the round of 16, South Africa knocked out. They lost to Colombia 3-1. Media firm Bloomberg reporting that Cristiano Ronaldo is football's first billionaire player. The valuation of Ronaldo's net worth puts him at $1.4 billion. It includes career earnings, investments and endorsements. At the Cricket World Cup today, Proteas women will face their toughest battle, taking on India, who are unbeaten in both matches they've played. Nadine de Klerk says the recent series in Pakistan helped them understand conditions better.
We know coming to a World Cup, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, and I think obviously didn't get off to a ideal start against England. But yeah, I think this World Cup is all about fight and character at the end of the day, and I think we've shown that in the last game. I think the conditions were quite similar, and I think we've had a really good series over in Pakistan and kind of got used to the conditions. And like I said, obviously, it's going to be really important this World Cup. Look like it's a bit on the slower side and taking quite a bit of turn. I think it's going to be really important going forward in this tournament.
Today's game starts at 11:30. Yesterday, Australia beat Pakistan by 107 runs. The Aussies were 76 for 7 at one point before Beth Mooney smashed 109 to rescue her team by taking them to a defendable 221. In the men's game, though, Australia yet to make a decision on Captain Cummins' participation at this year's Ashes. That starts next month. His back injury has not healed. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Hi, Uncle Bongani. My name is Wutlali and I am 12 years old. I go to school at Kiro Bloemfontein and I want to be a doctor when I grow up. I'm excited to play the Whiz Quiz with you.
Dr. Buhlali, can you win 10,000 Rand? That's the question.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
EWN Traffic.
14 to 7, this EWN Traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Roadworks on the N3 North. Amo?
That's correct, Bongani, causing delays coming out of Vincent Chabalala Road in the Alexandra area towards the Baklu interchange while traveling in Denver. We've got an accident reported on the M2 West. It's right near Silver Street. It's causing delays. Please be on the lookout there while traveling on the Mike 1 North bumper-to-bumper traffic between Boysons Road and Car Street. Peak time pressure along this route. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You could spend 10 minutes trying to fix the office printer or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. For her 2025 Hyundai Exter, 65-year-old Helena now pays only 398 Rand a month. And for her 2024 Haval H6 4x4, 50-year-old Priya pays just 1,178 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
702. Serving the 702 family in 702 land, including those of you in the vibrant neighborhood of Rosebank. Rosebank has undergone a major facelift in recent years. There's been an extensive redevelopment of shopping malls and the construction of new corporate headquarters, apartment blocks, restaurants and hotels. Its residents and visitors are served by the Gautrain. Rosebank is also known for its thriving art scene, with numerous galleries and the Keys Art Mile showcasing local and international talent. 702. Let's walk the talk across 702 land, including Rosebank.
To sell or not to sell? That is the question. Whether selling a car, bike, boat, or bakkie, We Buy Cars offers instant payment and a stress-free experience. Simply complete the form on webuycars.co.za for the best offer. Trading in or shopping for your next ride? Explore over 12,000 vehicles online, or you can visit We Buy Cars in store. So whether buying or selling, head to We Buy Cars today.
Breathe in, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. In, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. Again. In, insurance. Out, pineapple. Again and again. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Your office is more than just a place to work. It's a reflection of your success. At Desk and Chair, we help you elevate your workspace with locally manufactured desks and a wide range of chairs to suit your style and budget. Our expert consultants are with you every step of the way, from planning to delivery and assembly. Visit our showroom in Midrand or shop online at deskandchair.co.za. Desk and Chair. Think, feel, work better.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? And it's brought to you by Outsurance. Up to 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. So what you do is you send us an answer based on something that piqued your interest during the show, and for that you win 1,000 Rand. You WhatsApp us your name and the answer to 072 702 1702. Then a little later, someone else will ask a question to get to your answer and to win 2,000 Rand. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Good morning, Bongani team. Happy Thursday day. I would agree very much with regulation of religion because, the government is there to protect the society, in terms of how these churches are run. And I don't think if you are running it properly, you will have anything to hide. So I would really think that let's protect people sometimes from themselves because they do not actually see it until it's very late. So I am open up for that. And I know some people may be thinking that it's actually not a right decision or right thought. Thanks, guys, for a great show. Shadi, Kempton Park.
Morning, Bongani and viewers. My take on this whole thing about government trying to regulate religious institutions is absurd. It's a move of the enemy. Nothing is higher than the word of God, and God's institution should never be part of government or the world standards. But most importantly, Bongani, the leaders of this country are sick. First of all, they incapacitated for their roles. They cannot serve the people. They cannot be innovative and creative to be able to give us as citizens of this country a better life. And they look for real stupid reasons to warrant their positions in this country. Wasting taxpayers' money and just being there on that gravy train. Thank you.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm convinced. I think there's real harm being done. And if these organizations, whatever their faith is, are not doing anything wrong, surely they should welcome all the scrutiny they can get, right? Isn't the whole point of a faith-based organization to be above reproach? That there mustn't be a whiff of scandal, a hint of impropriety? So if they've got nothing to hide, what's the issue? Nothing to see. Let's move on. That's what would happen. But I think they're up in arms because there's a whole lot for them to hide. And the difficulty about, we've been down this rabbit hole many times. Your God versus KG's God versus Amo's God versus Poppy's God. No, that's why we have a constitution, and every organization that operates in the land must abide by it.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Up next, we speak to GroundUp about some of the amazing work they've been doing, some extraordinary stories they're going to tell us about. But in the meantime, let's give away some money, shall we? Our contestant today is Butlale, who's 12 years old, goes to Kuro Bloemfontein and wants to be a doctor, specifically a ped later on in life. Dr. Butlale, are you ready to play with us?
Yes.
Take a deep breath. Breathe in with me. Hold it, breathe out. See, now you're ready. Okay.
Yeah.
She goes, yeah. All right, KG, start the clock. In maths, what is 24 divided by 2?
12.
Correct. True or false? The kiwi is New Zealand's national bird.
False.
It's true. What three-letter word beginning with C is a calf's mother?
Can you please pass the question?
What three-letter word beginning with C is the mother to a calf?
A mother to a car.
Calf.
Can you please skip?
Cow. What sport does South Africa's Banyana Banyana play?
Soccer.
Correct. Which Marvel superhero can climb walls and buildings while wearing a blue and red suit?
Spider-Man.
Correct. True or false? The United Kingdom's national anthem is God Save the King.
True.
Correct. Where is Santa Claus supposed to live with his wife and the elves?
The North Pole.
The North Pole is indeed the correct answer. Is it in time? The producers say you walk away with 5 correct answers. Butlale, 500 Rand. Bit of the delay on the calf question. Calf, not car. Calf is the word I was saying there. But nonetheless, a valiant effort. 500 Rand is what you walked away with. You raised 10 to 13. Send us a WhatsApp voice note. We could be calling you to play the Whiz Quiz.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702.
Current events, developing stories,
Tough questions.
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
6 to 7 now. Every second Thursday, we speak to the investigative outfit GroundUp, who do amazing work as a non-profit news agency telling compelling community-driven stories, and they rely on donations to deliver their in-depth journalism. And today we're speaking to Barbara October, who is an editor at GroundUp. Barbara, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. We're looking at a number of your stories. Let's start with the Gauteng Department of Social Development. So they came up with this new fancy portal for organizations to register for funding. And 2 weeks before applications deadline, it's not working.
Yes, good morning, Bongani, and good morning to your listeners. So we've actually been following and covering, the funding crisis at Gauteng DSD for quite some time now. And it was just recently when we were contacted in a panic by organizations 2 weeks ago saying, this new platform, it's called Gantor, that was launched in August. And, the thing was meant to make the funding process so much easier for organizations to access the funds that they dearly need. And, they contacted us saying, there's been problems. And as we speak, there's just 1 week to go. So, and these problems have not been resolved yet. One of the issues that they mentioned to us is that, they were unable to log in. The applications weren't being saved. Another issue was that, the department was requiring them to upload every single beneficiary onto the system. But, as we know, some organizations work with well over 3,000 beneficiaries. So that was just not a usable platform and system.
Were any of them able to succeed as far as you can tell?
In the minority, definitely in the minority. There were a few that work with not as many beneficiaries as the majority do, but they are certainly not, able to access this.
I suppose
this money.
The point of the question, Barbara, is to figure out if those that succeeded now need to resubmit via email. Will their documents still be in some kind of system, or have
Correct.
theirs disappeared into the ether?
No, so now everybody, so because, there was this uproar and, people are complaining about the system, now everybody is going to have to resubmit. And that's via email. So they're reverting back to the old system. And whatever effort that all these organizations put into the uploading their data onto this new system is null and void.
Wonder who got the tender for this portal, hey?
Exactly. And, we sent multiple questions onto the department and they've just ignored us up to today.
Let's talk about another story from Limpopo this time. I mean, now there's a way to do business and surely there's a way not. Tell me about these pensioners who are getting deductions taken off their SASSA grants.
So this is an investigation and an interesting one that we were able to do with the Limpopo Mirror. And, we were contacted by pensioners, and not just one or two, it was quite a few pensioners that said, they were getting these deductions for life policies that they just don't recall signing up for. Some people were quite adamant that they had never signed up for these life policies. One of the companies involved, and if readers want to go to check out some of the other companies involved, we do mention them in the article, but one of them is Emerald Life. And, we went to the company to say, these beneficiaries are saying, they did not sign up for the policies. Can you show us the contracts?
Yeah.
And the thing is, they did show us the contracts. But, when we dug a bit deeper and we found out that when these contracts were signed, they weren't signed in, the beneficiary's home language. So they didn't really understand what it was they were signing. So while there's ink on the paper, they had no idea what they were signing up for. And after pushback, Emerald Life quickly cancelled the one beneficiary's policy. And, they explained it to us that, it's in good gesture that they're doing this because everything was above board. But, they ended up paying this beneficiary back over 4,600 Rand of much
Goodness
and
me.
desperately needed money.
I mean, just think what it means for somebody who is a SASSA grant recipient to lose that amount of money. What does this tell us about the risk pensioners face when insurers deduct premiums from social grants? And is this a widespread issue, do you think, Barbara?
At this point, this is something that we're looking into, but it does appear to be a widespread problem at this point because currently there is no law saying that, that doesn't mandate any deductions or premiums on social grants. So this is possibly a very widespread problem at the moment.
Gosh, there's a way to do business, guys, and there's a way to not. Appreciate your time. Barbara October, GroundUp editor there. As I say, they do amazing, amazing community-driven work. You can read about the stories we've just discussed. You can go to groundup.org.za for more details.
702.
Coming up, the big interview.
The big interview, of course, focuses on this extraordinary claim that some hospitals are swapping equipment. So when inspectors come to check, readiness, say, for national health insurance, they see everything looking absolutely spiffing, only to realize at various hospitals they've been seeing the same equipment, the same documents. We'll hear both sides of that story coming up after this Eyewitness News, brought to you by Khalix. Khalix, for the businessman who knows what he wants.
This is EWN.
Students at Fort Hare University have been given until 5 o'clock to leave campus following protests, and
Gaza, we believe, is going to be a much safer place, and it's going to be a place that reconstructs.
Trump says the US will be involved in keeping Gaza peaceful. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Management at Fort Hare University in the Eastern Cape has suspended all operations following a violent student protest. The administration and student affairs buildings were set on fire yesterday. The protest was sparked by the university's plans to appoint an interim SRC during amendments of the Student Governance Constitution. Students are also calling for Vice-Chancellor Sakela Buhlungu to resign, accusing him of failing to deal with alleged mismanagement at the institution. Ntokozo Kumalo reports.
In a statement released by the university late last night, it states that the few students engaged in the recent protest are not adhering to the interim court order issued by the Bisho High Court, which prohibits such acts. Higher Education Minister Mandla Mandela says he has requested a de-escalation plan from the university to ensure the protection of lives and campus infrastructure. Management says it was left with no choice but to take drastic measures to restore calm on campus. Students have been given until 5 o'clock this afternoon to vacate the university's premises. Ntokozo Kumalo, Eyewitness News.
National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola is set to appear before Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating police corruption to respond to submissions made by KwaZulu-Natal top cop Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Mkhwanazi wrapped his testimony yesterday, where he also revealed that Masemola came close to going to jail because of ongoing political interference over appointments at the Hawks. Political parties will question Masemola about his involvement in the decision to disband the Political Killings Task Team and corruption in crime intelligence. Babalondenze reports.
Fani Masemola's appearance will follow the same format as Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's, where evidence leader Advocate Norman Arendse will interview him first. Members of the committee will then get a chance to probe Masemola on his statement, as well as his Madlanga Commission testimony, which implicated Minister Senzo Mchunu. Mkhwanazi yesterday informed the ad hoc committee that Masemola himself was a victim of interference and was nearly arrested as part of a plan involving criminal intelligence and appointment to the Hawks.
We can tell you that, I can tell you that. The National Commissioner was in the doorstep of prison himself, not because he did anything wrong, but because it was part of the plan. The person who wanted to be the head of DPCI, because of his age, he could not be.
Masemola's testimony will also happen over 2 days before Deputy Commissioner Shadrack Sibia takes to the stand. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Donald Trump says the US will play a role in helping to rebuild war-torn Gaza after Israel and Hamas agreed to the first phase of his plan to end the war that's raged for 2 years. The first significant phase of a ceasefire was agreed to following a series of talks mediated in Egypt. The deal to be signed today includes the release of hostages and prisoners, as well as an increase of aid into Gaza. Hamas will exchange 20 living hostages for nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners as part of the first phase of the deal. The exchange will take place within the 72 hours of the implementation of the agreement, which is expected to be signed today. Israel has killed more than 67,000 Palestinians in Gaza, razed the territory to the ground and unleashed a major humanitarian crisis. Hamas triggered the war following an unprecedented 7 October 2023 attack on Israel, where more than 1,000 people were killed. This deal is part of a 20-point plan recently unveiled by US President Donald Trump. He spoke to Fox News during a telephonic interview just hours after announcing the agreement.
So Gaza, we believe, is going to be a much safer place, and it's going to be a place that reconstructs, and other countries in the area will help it reconstruct because they have tremendous amounts of wealth and they want to see that happen, and we'll be involved in helping them make it successful and helping it stay peaceful, but I think it's going to be peaceful.
And Russian strikes have killed 3 people and wounded 2 in Ukraine's northeastern Sumy region. The attacks came hours after Russia said that the monument towards reaching a peace deal in Ukraine has largely vanished. An attack by Ukrainian drones on Russia's Volgograd region caused fires at fuel and energy facilities. Russia launched its full-scale offensive on Ukraine in February 2022, describing it as a special military operation to demilitarize the country and prevent the expansion of NATO. Kyiv and its European allies have cast their war as an illegal land grab that has resulted in tens of thousands of civilians and military casualties and widespread. Gold is trading at $4,026.85 an ounce. The rand is at 17.16 to the dollar, 23.02 to the pound, 19.98 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $65.87 a barrel.
There's been an accident on the M2 West in Denver, right near Shulver Street, causing delays coming out of Cleveland Road while traveling in Germiston. We've got some delays on the N3 North between the Airlines Interchange and Van Buren Road.
And in your sport, huge clash for the Proteas women playing unbeaten India at the Cricket World Cup today at 11:30. Mo Salah scored twice as Egypt booked their place at next year's FIFA World Cup. And Sky Sports says the clash between the All Blacks and Springboks on September the 6th pulls in record number viewers.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with scattered afternoon showers expected. Johannesburg is at a low of 13 degrees, peaking at 28. Pretoria, 14 and 31. For the Inageng, 11 and 28 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Management at Fort Hare University in the Eastern Cape has suspended all operations following a violent student protest.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Picture this. You're in the office preparing a big presentation for that important meeting, and you accidentally spill coffee all over your crisp white shirt. Well, don't stress, because with the emergency shirt service from Khaleek's, you could have a brand new shirt delivered to your office in no time. All it takes is one phone call or a visit to khaleeks.co.za. So next time you have a sartorial mishap, don't cry over spilt milk. Get the emergency shirt service from Khaleek's, because accidents do happen. Khaleek's, for the businessman who knows what he wants.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes after 7 o'clock, we're keeping an eye on developments on the Fort Hare campus in the Eastern Cape in Alice. The administration and student affairs buildings set ablaze yesterday due to student protests. It's extraordinary because this is all to do with an interim SRC, amendments to the Student Governance Constitution. It is absolutely bugger all to do with actual outcomes of an academic endeavor. And you lose me. I'm sorry. I don't care what your issue is, particularly when it comes to education. If you're going to burn down buildings, come on. It's 2025. And if you see the visuals, these buildings look absolutely beautiful. And they've just... Ooh, let me not pop a vein, hey? Let me not pop a vein.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
We've been giving you updates, of course, from the ad hoc committee in Parliament looking at all the goings-on in the police. And yesterday, for a second day running, the KZN Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Mandla Mandela, continued his testimony and speaking about the pressures he has faced, I would say, throughout his career. But one of the things that I particularly found worrying was how he says corruption in the criminal justice system, and that in fact many operatives within that system have been engaging in a lot of wrongdoing. And he spoke at some length about the incorrect use of slush funds with very little or no accountability. Have a listen.
A police officer will own a farm, and in that farm will employ people that are working in the farm. And all those people that are working in the farm, they get registered in the police as agents. And they draw the salary every month from the secret fund account to pay for their employment in the farm. That's a typical example of what we're dealing with in 2011 that has not stopped to date. So, Honorable Chair members, I do hope that as we're engaging, we are showing some of deficiencies that exist in the system, which require the serious interrogation, because it doesn't start now. It started way back and it's still happening now. The police leadership will sit in a place like this to come and account before the Portfolio Committee on Police. The chairperson sitting on top will receive information from members from crime intelligence and should take that information and pass it to the honorable member across to attack the police management this side. We have the facts on those.
Quite extraordinary claims. In fact, he went on to talk about his time when he was acting national commissioner under police minister, then Nathi Mthethwa. And he says he was frustrated by that minister's attempts to be involved in policing.
With no doubt, I'm going to invite the parliament through the structures of intelligence or structures of security and whoever structures you can come up with to look at the time of Mr. Robert McBride Turner as the head of IPID, how they were interacting with Paul O'Sullivan. Mr. Nkabinde told me, who is now a chief of staff in the office of the minister, that operations of IPID were planned, coordinated, and executed at Paul O'Sullivan's house. That was his words to me. The phone will put McBride in this place, will put Paul O'Sullivan in this place, will put Nkabinde in this place, and others. And when that investigation is conducted, nobody can deny it, because we'll know exactly that all of them have been operating, guided by Paul O'Sullivan. Is Paul O'Sullivan a clean man, or is an agent? But it is time that this country must not sit back and be run by Mr. Paul O'Sullivan.
All right, I beg your pardon there. I said he was referring to police minister, but in fact there he was speaking at some length about, well, his allegations against the private investigator Paul O'Sullivan. Perhaps the most worrying moment in all of what we heard yesterday was this interaction between Mkhwanazi and the FF leader Julius Malema, who was pressing him on the alleged involvement of the judiciary in wrongdoing.
There's a member of the Judicial Service Commission. Judiciary to us is judges. We know magistrates is part of that. But when you are asked to give example of these judicial people who are involved in this wrongdoing and were given a name of a magistrate compared to what we had at the press conference, I think there was an overreach there.
Honorable Member, I had said earlier, unfortunately, you'll appreciate at the Mandla Commission, there are two presentations that are done there. It's an open one and the in-camera one. If this committee were to adopt similar approach, perhaps maybe engaging the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence, you will hear things that might shock you about that, what you believe is a judiciary, which is judges, how the judge gets involved in the mix.
Is that your evidence, General, that in camera we're going to hear explosive things about judges?
Yeah, it's there.
Isn't that worrying? Isn't that worrying? It's 13 minutes after 7 o'clock.
7:02. Up next.
The Big Interview.
EWN.
This Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Amo, it's peak hour delays at this time.
It is indeed, Bongani. If you're traveling on the Mike 1 North, bumper-to-bumper traffic between the Boysons Road exit and Empire Road. There's also queuing traffic along the N3 North between the Yelans interchange and the Kilulis interchange. Heading towards the Joburg CBD, do expect delays along the M2 West. An accident has been reported there. It's right near Silver Street. It's causing delays coming out of Cleveland Road, while delays are also reported along the N1 North. This is between the N12 exit and the Deep Kloof interchange. About a 15-minute hold up there. City of Tshwane, delays on the R80 East approaching Eskom Pahlele Drive. Peak time pressure along this route. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Clever late excuse number 86. I got stuck behind a learner driver for 20 minutes. Don't be that guy. With the Outsurance Pointsman on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance Pointsman, easing traffic congestion, getting you there quickly and safely since 2005. Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702. Show them some love online using hashtag PointsmanLove. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Zahira was tired. So tired, she let her eyes rest a bit. It was bad. So bad. She replaced 4 hours of spreadsheets with... It was bad. So bad. Too bad she didn't have Yoko Counter. It automatically recon sales, tracks stock, and staff performance. So good. Yoko Counter. Super simple POS and payments in one. No contracts, no hidden costs.
At Anglo American, we mine more than minerals. We mine possibility and progress with purpose. For over a century, we have been part of South Africa's story, investing in our country's potential and unlocking opportunities together. This year alone, through our Kumba iron ore business, we've invested 25.9 billion rand into South Africa. This includes infrastructure development, education and healthcare, community upliftment, and more. Follow us on our social media channels, Anglo American South Africa, and join the conversation. Anglo American, mining potential, building beyond.
Medical care, like music, needs continuity. A steady rhythm and pattern. Patients attended to on time. Medication taken as prescribed. Cut the rhythm, and it falls apart. Right now, global funding cuts are restricting access to healthcare. With your support, Doctors Without Borders can continue to provide medical care to communities worldwide. Because medicine, like music, only works when uninterrupted. Doctors Without Borders. We go there.
For the first time ever, the G20 summit is being hosted on African soil, a global moment of solidarity, equality and sustainability, Africa at the center. So tune in tomorrow on 702 Breakfast for the G20 Correspondence Desk, brought to you by RMB and FNB, proud sponsors of this year's G20 summit. FNB and RMB are divisions of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
17 after 7. Now, picture this. A hospital is preparing for an inspection. Everything looks perfect. The autoclaves, the ECG machines, the patient monitors, the ventilators, all the necessary equipment is in place and in tip-top shape. And at every other hospital the inspectors visit, they see the same. Quite literally, because the facilities are sharing some of the same equipment, borrowing from each other to try and pull the wool over the inspector's eyes. The country's health standards watchdog, the Office of Health Standards Compliance, is warning that this window dressing is becoming a common practice. And it raises questions, of course, about patient safety, but also the readiness of hospitals ahead of the national health insurance rollout. We've invited both guests today to explore both sides of the story. We've got Dr. Nicholas Crisp, the Deputy Director General of the National Health Insurance Division in the Department of Health, and Dr. Siphiwe Mndaweni, who is the Health Standards Compliance CEO. And I'll start with you, Dr. Mndaweni. A very good morning to you, and thank you for your time.
Good morning, Bongani, and good morning to all the listeners and to Dr. Chris.
All right, talk to me. Firstly, what is this window dressing? Did my introduction describe it accurately?
In part, Bongani, let me just explain what exactly it is. It's an observed a practice during our inspections where I'll call it deceptive practice, where equipment would be borrowed from one side of the clinic or facility to another side. Now, this creates a sense of false impression that a particular standard is adhered to. It's really borrowing equipment and moving things around. Now, in your opening statement, you said it's common practice. Let me clarify that at the moment, it's not. We would not define it as systematic or as widespread, but we have observed sporadic incidences where there are facilities that would actually borrow things amongst each other or even within the facility itself. And these instances are spotted by inspectors themselves as they conduct the inspections. But they are significant enough for us to raise concerns around them.
What's the most common type of equipment that is exchanged in this way?
Okay. In the main, it would be the emergency trolley. Each and every clinical area where services are provided, there must be an emergency trolley for, resuscitation and whatever would be required, to save a life. Now, what you would find is that this trolley would be moved from one clinical service area to another. The other common one would be the portable, what we call ambu bags. These are medical devices that are required, during resuscitation, as well as the defibrillators. These are also medical devices that are required when you are resuscitating a patient. In the main, those would be the equipments that are usually moved within facilities.
There was something about documents, if I understood that correctly. Where does that come in?
So the documents, there is a protocol that must be followed in terms of the policies, the protocols, and the SOPs. Now, to force compliance, at times, you would find that the signatories or the people that have actually attached their names there are not the people that are accountable. Now, it would mean that that document was not signed, so we don't know the authenticity. All those documents will be received from the district maybe in the morning. So again, that's when facilities are trying to fabricate or force compliance with a particular standard. We're very strict in terms of looking at the accountability levels, because whatever documentation that is used in facilities, to manage patients, we want to ascertain that it has gone through the appropriate level of approval.
How much do you prepare institutions or facilities ahead of your inspections? Do they know you're coming?
In the main, they do know that we are coming. We do give them a notice of announcement that we'll be conducting inspections. And this we do mainly so that we can be able to find the appropriate personnel and they can be aware that we are coming, and also be in a position to arrange the services because they are at work. In terms of us having realized that we have this challenge, we are going to start conducting more unannounced inspections where we will not necessarily inform the facility that we are coming. They will just see us showing up, so that in part we deal with this issue of window dressing. But once again, it would be also targeted on those institutions that fail or that are perpetually not adhering to standards. It's not going to be in all of the institutions. As I've indicated, that we have noticed that it is just sporadic occurrences, but we are concerned that we need to make people aware that it is a phenomenon that is happening. Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine that, spot visits should be the order of the day. I mean, that's obviously the difference between an open book and a closed book kind of examination. If they know you're coming, they'll prepare for you.
Well, they would prepare in terms of being available, because we do want them. Remember, when we undertake an inspection, we use various methodologies, observation, interviews, as well as document review. So we need all of that. But I must say, Bongani, it doesn't mean that all facilities are doing this. We've got a high number of facilities that are doing their utmost best to adhere to the standards. It's just those, outliers which we need to deal with.
But I mean, there are enough of them for you to raise the alarm about this. Are there any consequences for this kind of thing?
Absolutely. We, as a regulator, we are allowed to take enforcement action. Now, in instances where this is spotted, immediately we disqualify them. They don't. They will be non-compliant with that standard. We issue them with written warnings and also what we call a compliance notice. A compliance notice will give you a very definite timeline to adhere to that standard, and we will ascertain that we come back to verify, as well as also refer for disciplinary action where we feel that this is serious enough.
All right. What about criticism of your own issues there, Dr. Mdaweni? Understand that even though you've spent more than 100% of your budget, you weren't able to inspect all the facilities that were part of your target list.
That is correct. The size of our mandate, if you consider that in the country we have in excess of 50,000 facilities, which we must reach at least once in 4 years. With our current capacity, the reality is that we are unable to do so. And it is a valid criticism. We are all operating in a very, a budget-constrained environment. We are looking at other various methods of how we can actually expand our inspection footage in the country. And there are various things that we're looking into, but definitely at the moment, we're not adequately.
Last question, and one that Dr. Crisp, no doubt, will be very interested to hear the answer to. Are we, in your view, ready for NHI?
Yeah, in my view, and in our view as the regulator, the state of readiness in the healthcare sector can never be uniform. But we have all that it takes for our facilities to be able to participate in the NHI. The fact that we are conducting these quality assurance inspections in facilities, we are raising these issues for awareness, we are assisting facilities to comply with the norms and standards. We believe that we have all the apparatus that we require for the NHI, and also working very closely with Dr. Chris' directorate as well.
All right, Dr. Mdaweni, I appreciate your time listening to all of that, and I'll really thank you for your patience, Dr. Nicholas Crisp, but I thought it's important that you hear that full context of what Dr. Mdaweni had to say. So thank you for your time. She says it's not as widespread as perhaps people might have been concerned it is, but nonetheless, are you dismayed by what she's raising the alarm about?
Morning, Bongani and the listeners, and morning to Dr. Mdaweni. So we've answered parliamentary questions about these allegations before, so it's not something new to the department. There have been allegations raised by members of the Portfolio Committee in Parliament about allegations in clinics where similar statements have been raised, and they've been investigated every time and followed up. As you heard Dr. Mdaweni say, we work very closely with the regulator, and we are concerned about how to build a proper quality management. And, inspection is not about inspection. It is also about making sure that standards are improving all the time. And so that's what we are actually working towards. And we do find some excellent facilities and others that are really shocking. And the real challenge for us is to work with the departments, because I'm sure you're aware there are many health departments in the country. We need to work with them to make sure that they understand where these gaps are and what they're going to do about fixing them.
But this kind of thing obviously does pose a risk rather to patient care.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we see it in the private sector. We see it in the public sector. We see it everywhere. There are people who take chances. Unfortunately, we live in a society where you have to be incredibly vigilant. And it's extremely irritating for the many people who work so hard to do things right when somebody does something like this and spoils it for the majority who are trying to do the right thing.
What consequence do they face?
Well, as you heard, from a regulator perspective, there are things that they can do about it. And of course, they report it to the health department concerned. So, it'll be usually one of the provincial health departments, because they are the largest that get inspected. And then the action is for the management of the provincial health departments to take. And then, of course, the inspectors go back and they check. So they will reschedule to make sure that whatever was non-compliant has to be met with.
All right, Dr. Nicholas Crisp, appreciate your time. Deputy Director General of the National Health Insurance Division at the Department of Health.
EWN Business.
Business news now. Muteo Khwaripe, 29 after 7. The tile producer, a tile producer has flagged South Africa's structural issues as a threat to manufacturers. Which one?
Ital Tile, Bongani, listed tile and bathroomware retailer Ital Tile has flagged a deepening crisis in the South African manufacturing sector. According to the Business Day, the company's CEO Lance Foxcroft has warned that the local economy is not conducive for the built industry. In his letter to investors, the CEO says the energy insecurity in the country, high municipal costs and policy uncertainty is hindering growth in the sector. Ital Tile reported that turnover fell 2% to 11.3 billion rand, while trading profit was flat at 2 billion rand.
BMW shares falling.
Yeah, BMW shares fell by as much as 8% on Wednesday after the car maker cut its 2025 earnings forecast due to delays in the US and German customs refunds and continued weakness in China. Delays in customs refunds led to halved expectations for free cash flow at the company. Sales in the big market China were below expectations despite rising sales in Europe and the US.
Your indicators?
Well, the market far more positive yesterday. The All share up 1,522 points, pushed up by mining shares yesterday, while the rand this morning is now at 17 rand 14 cents against the US dollar, in a good position this morning. Really doing well against the US dollar. In terms of other currencies, at 19 rand 96 against the euro, and at 22 rand 98 cents against the British pound. The price of gold is at $4,036 an ounce, while platinum is down 0.5% at $1,658. Brent crude at $65.96 a barrel. More business after 8.
Time now for your latest eyewitness news. Sifiso Zulu, hasta la vista, baby. He's back.
That's right, Bongani. Patriotic Alliance Deputy Leader Kenny Gunene says he's here to stay following his reinstatement as Joburg Transport MMC. Gunene returned to government earlier this week following his resignation from the City Council in July. He had stepped down from politics after being found at the home of suspected underworld figure Katiso Katie Molefe during a police raid. Molefe is in custody currently for allegedly orchestrating the murder of Opa Sifoka, also known as DJ Sambodi. Gunene spoke about his reinstatement on the sidelines of a service delivery program in Soweto yesterday. Alfara Mushwana was there.
After Patriotic Alliance Deputy Leader Kenny Gunene resigned from the Johannesburg City Council in July, no one was appointed to replace him as the MMC for Transport. This is because the ANC wanted to fill the position with someone from a different party, while the PA insisted on appointing one of its own councillors to the position. Even after Kunene's recent return to the council, there was some resistance to reappointing him as MMC for Transport. But now that he has been reinstated, this is how he expresses his joy.
I am back against
Kunene is now the PA's Johannesburg mayoral candidate for next year's local government elections. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Soweto.
The husband of a commander who died after being swept off a submarine in stormy sea conditions is determined to hold the SA Navy accountable for his wife's death. Lieutenant Commander Gillian Hector, Master Warrant Officer William Matipa and Warrant Officer Mokwapa Mujela died during a tragic event off the coast of Komaki in 2023. Hector's widower, Commander Romario Hector, says he is consulting his lawyers to lodge a civil suit against the SA Navy and the Defense Department. Carlo Peterson reports.
Romero Hector says he has enough evidence for a successful case against the SA Navy after being granted access to a classified report. The report suggests the SA Navy and the captain on duty were guilty of possible negligence.
The submarine was never cleared or authorized to do a vertical lift exercise in the first place.
Hector says he will also be assisting the Hawks with a culpable homicide case against the captain. The SA Navy has indicated it will cooperate with any legal processes related to the incident. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
The Equal Education Law Centre has raised concerns about child abuse cases that are going unreported. The organisation has commented on after the South African Council for Educators took 36 teachers off the register for illegal and unethical offences committed against children. Another 70 educators have been found guilty of serious misconduct and received fines. Organisation Equal Education Law says there are many barriers that make it difficult for learners to report abuse and misconduct, including fear of retaliation, lengthy investigation periods, and a lack of hope in the justice system. Child protection expert Danielle Anafard says more needs to be done to protect children.
One of the key blockages that we experience is in the linkages between the reporting process at the perspective of SACE and at the point of the school and the investigation procedures that are supposed to take place.
And 18 sunscreen products have been pulled from shelves in Australia after failing to meet labelled UV protection assurances. Australia has also been flagged as the country with the highest cases of skin cancer. Dermatologist Dr. Ishad Asak assures that South African sunscreen products have gone through rigorous testing and they are safe for use.
There has been a move in many EU countries and in South Africa as well for sunscreens to be labeled properly. And now you'll also notice that some sunscreens do not have a claim of an SPF 80 or a SPF 90 or a SPF 100. You'll notice that the majority of sunscreens now claim just SPF 50 plus.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with showers expected today. The temperatures are at lows of 11 and 14 degrees, peaking at highs between 28 and 31.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the Mark 1 North between Boysons Road and the Car Street exit. There's also queuing traffic along the N1 North between the N17 turn-off and Albertina Sisulu Road.
The top story this hour, Patriotic Alliance Deputy Leader Kenny Gunene says he's here to stay following his reinstatement as Joburg Transport MMC.
Your workday calls for more performance, more doing the impossible, more challenge accepted. Your weekends demand more excitement, more detours, more limitless living. And the new GWM P300 LS is where it all comes together. Bring it on in the new P300 LS with a 2.4 turbo diesel and 12.3-inch touchscreen from only $5,999 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM, go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank and authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Calling all golf pros. Hollywood Bets invites you to step onto the green. Tee up, take a swing and enjoy glorious golf action from electrifying competitions and thrilling live tournaments. Get ready to conquer the fairway and chase epic fortunes. Ready to master the odds and experience your crowning moment? Bet now on all the excitement and prepare to make your hole-in-one shot to sensational success. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008.
People are talking, everybody's talking, and they're saying it's time to make insurance great again. They said our low premiums were fake news. Wrong! We're putting customers first. We're gonna drain the insurance swamp. It's full of hidden fees. But when we clean it up, believe me, it's gonna be huge.
This message has absolutely nothing to do with the US government. It's paid for by the King of Insurance, who's making insurance great again. Get a quote now. It'll be the best decision people are saying ever. King Price is a licensed FSP. No fake news, just like her insurance.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, Bongani. Interesting interview and big ups to the people that's doing their job so diligently to pick up all this creative fraud and corruption and the ripple effect it has on our country. I hope they understand what they are doing. I wish they can use that creative nonsense of theirs to grow the country and make people's lives better instead of.
Bongani, can you imagine trying to work with one blood pressure machine for every 500 patients? I mean, it's actually unconscionable. And then you've got to run around to a post office to print off referral forms. Really, it's astonishing that that clinic even functions in a sort of modicum of a fashion. Honestly, that poor man, he sounds so desperate. It's absolutely appalling. And the more worms that come out of cans, in whatever way, the more we show up the ANC, the better. Thanks, Bongani. Bye.
Morning, Bongs. Only a regional head of a Department of Health can put out such an instruction to move equipment around. The managers don't even have that much power, but the regional heads of health are the ones that are orchestrating this movement of equipment.
Good morning, Bongani. Saying that you are going to notify them when there's an inspection so that the responsible people will ensure that are at work. I mean, where else would they be if they're not at work, right? So that is more reason to do an unannounced visit, to get there and say, listen, why are these people at work? And then they should take it a step further, because everybody would have biometric or electronic clocking systems. So one needs to monitor the time and attendance records to see how often these responsible people, who probably get massive salaries, how often do they actually go to the hospital, how often do they report for work? And so yes, unannounced audits and inspections is definitely what needs to be done. Thank you. This is Hendrik from Pretoria.
Thank you for all those voice notes and keep them coming through. We got a call earlier from one Amos who works within the system, who says it's really incredibly frustrating. They're not allowed to buy new equipment. What little they have has to be spread over a number of people, and often they have to take out resources from their own pockets to make sure things work. So there are some challenges within that system, I can tell you that much. for free from what we have heard. But I suppose as far as the inspections are concerned, one of the explanations we heard from Dr. Crisp, of course, the basic is that people are at work. But they're also saying that they want to look at the quality of patient care that is provided. So at times, it's not just about showing up unannounced, but if there are procedures, for example, to be performed on patients, you want to make sure that all of that is accommodated when the inspectors come, so they can not only see that the clinicians and the caregivers are there, but they can actually then look at the quality of care that is being provided.
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance. Your chance to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. So firstly, we've got 1,000 Rand for the answer, and then a little later, 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask Outsurance for 500 Rand. Desmond has today's answer. Desmond, please give it to me. What's today's answer?
Morning, Bongani. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Desmond. Go ahead.
The answer is Section 22.
Section 22. And tell me, Desmond, have you got yourself a quote from Outsurance?
Yes, Bongani.
Your biscuit, 1,000 Rand is coming your
Thank
way.
you.
All thanks
Thank
to
you very
Outsurance and 702. There you have it. Desmond says today's answer is Section 22. What's the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
Right, Cindy Paluta at the Women's Cricket World Cup. It's been down and up, but today is possibly the toughest game we're going to face, eh?
Definitely the toughest game we're going to play, because we're up against the co-hosts, India. They haven't lost yet. They've played 1-2. And, you know, but anything can happen. Anything can happen at a sport, and it's cricket, and the ball is round, and the runs will be scored.
Yep.
And that's this morning at 11:30. The Proteas women taking on India. Nadine de Klerk says having a tough start to the tournament has really been not easy. They faced title contenders England and New Zealand in their opening two games.
Obviously had a great game the other day against New Zealand, and I think there's just a good vibe around our side. So yeah, I think we're not too much focused on on the travelling and the opponents, but like I said, we're going to have to play them at some stage, and I guess it just prepares us well. You have to be at your very best from the first, and we weren't against England, and we got put under pressure. So I think it was just an eye opener, and we have to be ready for every single game we play.
The game starts at 11:30. Yesterday, Australia beat Pakistan by 107 runs. The Aussies were 76 for 7 at one point before Beth Mooney smashed 109 to rescue her team by taking them to a defendable 221. South Africa is out of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in the round of 16. They lost to Colombia 3-1 yesterday. While FIFA World Cup qualifiers last night, Mo Salah scoring twice as Egypt beat Djibouti 3-0 to be the third African side to qualify for next year's tournament in the USA. They joined Morocco and Tunisia as the first 3 of the 9 African sides to qualify. Cape Verde came from 3-1 down to draw with Libya 3-3, edging closer to a first ever World Cup qualification. Ghana thrashed Central African Republic 5-0, now need just 1 point from their last match to qualify. Bafana's qualification campaign continues tomorrow night against Zimbabwe. Media firm Bloomberg reporting Cristiano Ronaldo is football's first billionaire player. The valuation of Ronaldo's net worth, including career earnings, investments and endorsements, has him at $1.4 billion.
It's all those underwear.
Which is like
no, the CR7.
What is it? 20 billion rand?
Yeah.
If it's $1.4 billion.
You want to be a billionaire? Play football.
Okay, Bruno Mars. So freaking bad. And then New Zealand Rugby and Sky confirming the All Blacks against the Springboks Rugby Championship match at Eden Park on the 6th of September recorded the most engaged audience for an All Blacks match on Sky Sports since the 2023 Rugby World Cup final, where almost 1 million people tuned in to watch the full 80 minutes.
Goodness
so you
me.
can
Was
watch.
that the first or the second one?
The first one, where they won. Actually, would like to see the figures for the same.
Lots of us didn't watch. Lots of us, anyway, in South Africa.
Be very interesting.
Didn't watch all of the first one.
Very interesting to see the dip out. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
You could spend 10 minutes hunting for the TV remote or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. SMS out to 45142. Like 29-year-old Sana, who now pays an incredibly low 796 Rand a month for her 2025 Jetour Dashing. With Outsurance Comprehensive, you get 24/7 roadside assistance in case you break down, run out of petrol, lock your keys in the car, and more. SMS out to 45142. Get used to getting more. After switching, 65-year-old Helena now pays only 398 Rand a month for her 2025 Hyundai Exter. Not an OUTsurance client yet? Get a quick and easy quote today. If OUTsurance can't beat what you're paying, ask them for 500 Rand. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash, you have nothing to lose. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. OUTsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online. Limits apply.
Huawei Watch GT6 Series, 2025's must-have smartwatch, introducing the king of power. Up to 21 days of unstoppable battery life in a sleek titanium and ceramic design that's as strong as it's stylish. The Trackmaster with 24/7 heart rate tracking, sleep monitoring, advanced health management, and the world's first cycling virtual power feature. Fully compatible with both iOS and Android. Get yours now from just 169 Rand a month over 36 months or 4,999 Rand at selected retailers. T's and C's apply.
EWN Traffic.
All right, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by the new Opel Grandland. With smart tech and striking design, it's German engineering on a grand scale. Test drive one today at your nearest open dealer. At 14 to 8, there are going to be delays in lots of places. What's happening on the R24 West, Amo?
Bongani, there's a queuing traffic there between the Edenville Road exit and the Kidulis interchange, as well as if you're traveling on the N12 West, traffic is heavily backed up along the street between Edenville Road and the Kidulis turn off. Heading towards Sunny Hill, we still have got those roadworks along the N3 North. They are causing delays between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange. While traveling in the city of Tshwane, we've got a car stuck on the road. It's on the N1 South, right near after Hurstfontein Road, and it's causing some delays there. Please be on the lookout. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Don't ever settle for great. You know that great feeling after nailing a big presentation? Imagine upgrading that. I'm talking driving home with your car's massage seats, practically high-fiving your bum. Headlights so bright, you feel like the star your boss said you were. Arriving home, making an entrance, grander than your slide transitions. Go grand in the new Opel Grandland, designed and made in Germany. Visit opel.co.za for more.
Opel Grandland 702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to OUTsurance. Please tell me what's the question. If the answer is Section 22. Let's go to the lines and see who has it. Let's try Mandisi in Port Elizabeth. Mandisi, what's the question?
Which section in the South African Constitution is giving the President powers to appoint the National Director of Public Prosecutions?
Not quite, Mandisi. Fortunately, that's not the right answer. Pukela, you're in Boksburg. What's the question?
Good morning. Which section of the South African Criminals Act Procedure 51 of 1971 outlines circumstances under which a police officer can conduct a warrantless search and seizure of articles specified in Section 20?
When did you hear that, Pukela? No, my friend. Remember, it's always got to do something we've said on the show already. Zweli, you're in Soweto. Take us home. What's the question?
Well, the question is, what's the section that the CRL committee implemented that caused the march of the church leaders to the union buildings?
Yes, indeed. The CRL's Rights Commission, they've got a new Section 22 committee. And that's what they're going to be using to try and keep check on religious institutions. Yesterday, we saw that march to the union buildings by some church leaders protesting exactly that. And my view is if they've got nothing to hide, surely they should open all the books and all the doors and all the basements for inspection. That's how it ought to be, surely. Zweli, you are correct. You are walking away with 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to OUTsurance and 702. Now, when 55-year-old Stefan got this deal from OUTsurance, he grabbed it faster than a green traffic light. He now pays only 611 Rand a month for his 2024 Suzuki Jimny. And after one call, 31-year-old Balisa bagged a bargain of just 926 Rand a month for her 2024 Kia Sonet, or Kia Sonnet. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 45142 today. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, a licensed insurer, and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
So, Taryn, you've just graduated cum laude, but nothing says you're a genius quite like selling your car to We Buy Cars.
Absolutely. My car was an 18th birthday present, and it's time to move on to something a bit more mature.
So, where did you hear about We Buy Cars?
All of my friends are using We Buy Cars. I would have had legit FOMO if I hadn't used them. And it was so quick. I did it on my laptop while sending around my CV.
Smart move, Taryn. Graduated and upgraded. We Buy Cars. Geared for success, geared for you.
The team's on a roll today. Let me focus on payroll. Duty calls in the kitchen. That's why I have a business insurer that is agile and on the ball all the time on all things. I chose My Way Business Insurance, getting 24/7 emergency service and saving on my premiums, plus my business assist to handle my admin.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
702.
702. What's gone viral?
With Kabazela.
Catch up now with the world of viral content. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Bella.
This has happened to me even when I was driving.
Oh, really?
Just sleeping in my car.
Sleeping in my car. It's also a song by Roxette, by the way. So this was an interesting video. This woman decided she didn't feel like going into the shopping center with her friend and was in the front passenger seat and decided, well, let me take advantage of the time and had a nap. And she looked like she fell into quite a deep nap because her mouth was half open and she looked like she was half dead in the car while she was sleeping. So some passerby must have, got concerned and called the police. So the police came to the car and somebody's now filming it, obviously. And instead of like tapping on the window to knock on the door or whatever it is to wake her up, they decide to break the window on the driver's side. And this woman's still, funnily enough, half asleep while this is happening. And then eventually she wakes up, gets a fright, and sees two police officers on either side of the car. And then they quiz her and they say, "Are you okay? What's happening? Are you high on drugs or anything like that?" And she was like, "No, I'm just having a sleep. I'm having a nap here. Maybe she had a hard night last night or whatever it may be." But then the video ends and we don't know what happened and who would pay for the window as well. But sleeping in your car, I mean, I remember when I was young, I used to, instead of going into the shops with my mom, I'd say, "No, I'm going to stay in the car," and I'd have a bit of a kip there in the back seat of the vehicle while she was, doing whatever she needed to do in the shopping center. So luckily, no police found me or smashed the windows there. But I wanted to find out from our 702 family this morning, Bongles, and your story just now. Do you sleep in your car anywhere? I mean, a lot of people, I think, during lunch breaks at the office go and sleep in their cars for a little bit of a nap.
Yeah, I mean, I had a very similar, the only difference perhaps was that my window wasn't broken. This was many, many years ago. I'd parked at the Glen and, the rest of the family went shopping and I stayed in the car and I fell asleep. And the next thing I knew, there were all these tactical teams. There were people, it was a lot. There were guys with, big rifles and I was just, no, it wasn't me. But you wake up and you're a little disoriented. And the next thing, you catch on very quickly, of course, as to what is going on. But apparently sometimes shopping centers get concerned if people sleep in their own cars. But Asikolapa, so I can completely relate. Let us know if you've got stories or memories at all of sleeping in the car. And another piece of art.
The first piece of artwork, I imagine, is wonderful, it's special, and, you might put it up on the fridge door or whatever it may be. But then after the 50th or the 100th piece of drawing or paint work or artwork, what do you do with it? Do you just put it in a little box and keep it there and say, "Oh, lovely, well done, my boy, my girl, great piece of work there"? Or do you keep it and turn it into something? So this father had lots of these, coloring in drawings and whatever it may be. So instead of throwing them away, what he did was he took a massive piece of canvas And then he made a collage out of all the pieces of artwork that his kids have done, and he glued them onto this canvas very, very nicely, and then hung it up in the wall in his house. And it actually turned out to be a really nice piece of artwork for your home, and a lovely memory, I suppose. So the parents out there, what do you do with all the drawings and the paintings that the kids have brought back from school days? And maybe you still got them somewhere hidden somewhere in the house, gathering dust. Love to know about those.
There was an old 80s song. They're living in a box. They are living in a cardboard box. They're living in a box. Because what do you do?
Make an art piece.
What is nice is every now and again, as they grow older, to show them some of, the little mementos you've kept over the years. But they go, ooh, ah, and the moment is gone. But even now, you still can't bring yourself to get rid of them. But
no. I mean, I've still got some of my, when I cleaned out the house, where we grew up in, I've still got some of my old English writing books from like grade 2 that my mom had kept. And I went and had a read, and I was like, yeah.
There's been no improvement.
wasn't top of the class. Wasn't top of the class there, eh?
There's been no improvement. There's been no change. All right, what do you do with the art pieces from your little bundles of joy? That's what's gone viral with Kabazela.
702 feedback
with Rupfiwa Kone.
Rupfiwa Kone, you're at that stage.
Mm-hmm.
Are you collecting them?
I don't.
Do you ooh and ah?
I do ooh and ah, but some of these pictures are so insulting. There's one in particular that my son drew of me when I was pregnant with my second born.
Yeah.
And I look like a balloon animal. So round, and it's not good. It's too honest.
I will not say anything. I wasn't there, so I'm not going to say anything.
So really, some of these paintings,
out of the mouths of babes, eh? Out of the paintbrushes of babes.
But I do, however, keep report cards. Definitely, I do keep their report cards. For some reason, I don't know why yet, but I do keep each and every report card.
It will all be revealed
in
the future. All right, what other feedback you got?
Well, Bongani, listeners are reacting to your big interview that you had this morning. They're speaking about restoring the public health system requires transparency and accountability. The government must enforce surprise inspections, penalize facilities that are caught window dressing. Inspections are meant to inspect what is going wrong or what is going right. So having them be prepared for these inspections really defeats the purpose.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think let's be clear. One of the things Dr. Crisp did explain to us, of course, and to be clear, this is not just about is everyone at work? It's not as basic as that. It's also about what procedures are followed. And so when, for example, there's a particular operation, shall we say, to be performed, it is actually good that the inspectors are coming so that you can have an idea of how these things, you can't just sort of show up. I would imagine, I don't know, in a theater room, I'd imagine there are only so many people that can be there. That kind of thing. So you want to at times prepare them. And I think both Dr. Crisp and Dr. Mdaweni were clear on that. So,
however, it sort of also defeats the purpose, because when are you going to actually find them not doing right and catch them? Because if you're prepared for something, I do understand where Dr. Crisp was coming from, but when,
on the other hand, Nigel, I hear the point.
That's how we're coming to this problem where people are borrowing equipment. So it sort of defeats.
Because even if that equipment isn't there, then the officials have a sense of what those facilities actually lack. And so when budgeting decisions are made, they're made on the basis of what is actually real on the ground versus what people would like the situation to be.
Exactly. Bongani, listeners are also reacting to your funny question this morning about the competition they feel they can join into or win. And some of the responses that did come through were procrastinating, One said they procrastinate so well, they make it look so productive, which was quite funny. And one actually said arguing with the GPS direction and still getting lost.
Do you know what my ops skill is? Texting. I'm really good at texting. We can have a whole conversation. I would win the texting conversation. We're talking about ops skills that you have, that you're so good at this random thing you wish you could compete with other people. Because Adam Gilchrist is going to tell us about somebody who's just won the World Porridge Making Championship. Yeah, ne? Other countries have it so easy. It's 8 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Fort Hare shuts down following violent protests, and there are celebrations in Gaza and Israel as a new ceasefire takes shape. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Management at Fort Hare University in the Eastern Cape has suspended all operations following a violent student protest. The Administration and Student Affairs building was set on fire yesterday. The protest was sparked by the university's plans to appoint an interim SRC during amendments to the student governance constitution. Students are also calling for Vice-Chancellor Sakela Buhlungu to resign, accusing him of failing to deal with alleged mismanagement at the institution. Ntokozo Khumalo reports.
In a statement released by the university late last night, it states that the few students engaged in the recent protest are not adhering to the interim court order issued by the Bisho High Court, which prohibits such acts. Higher Education Minister Mandla Mandela says he has requested a de-escalation plan from the university to ensure the protection of lives and campus infrastructure. Management says it was left with no choice but to take drastic measures to restore calm on campus. Students have been given until 5 o'clock this afternoon to vacate the university's premises. Ntokozo Khumalo, Eyewitness News.
A car dealership that sold 6 luxury cars to one of the people accused of stealing money from President Cyril Ramaphosa's farm has distanced itself from the transactions. Emanuela David allegedly bought 4 million rands worth of cars from the Benoni-based dealership using the stolen funds after the 2020 robbery. David, along with siblings Froliana and Dilinasho Joseph, are charged with breaking and entering President Cyril Ramaphosa's farm and stealing $580,000. They appeared at the Mudumole Regional Court in Limpopo yesterday for trial. Tabiso Goba was there.
The car salesperson who first met Emanuela David testified in court yesterday that David wanted to pay cash using US dollars. The salesperson says since he's not authorized to handle cash, he passed David on to the general manager. The general manager who testified last week said his role was only limited to showing off the cars to David.
As I said, when the deal was done, I took the guys from my garage to where my director was, and they did the deal there at the office.
The director testified yesterday, saying he also had a limited role in the transactions, and it was the general manager that handled everything.
He must be mistaken. You see, because it being of cash nature, there was no need for me to be involved. If it had to be bank finance, then I'd have to know about it.
The trial resumes on the 8th of December. Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola is set to appear before Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating police corruption to respond to submissions made by KwaZulu-Natal top cop Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Mkhwanazi wrapped his testimony yesterday, where he also revealed that Masemola came close to going to jail because of ongoing political interference over appointments at the Hawks. Political parties will question Masemola today about his involvement in the decision to disband the Political Killings Task Team and corruption in crime intelligence. Babalondenza reports.
Fani Masemola's appearance will follow the same format as Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's, where evidence leader Advocate Norman Arendse will interview him first. Members of the committee will then get a chance to probe Masemola on his statement, as well as his Madlanga Commission testimony, which implicated Minister Senzo Mchunu. Mkhwanazi yesterday informed the ad hoc committee that Masemola himself was a victim of interference and was nearly arrested as part of a plan involving criminal intelligence and appointment to the Hawks.
We can tell you that, I can tell you that. The National Commissioner was in the doorstep of prison himself, not because he did anything wrong, but because it was part of the plan. That the person who wanted to be the head of DPCI, because of his age, he could not be.
Masemola's testimony will also happen over 2 days before Deputy Commissioner Shadrack Sibia takes to the stand. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And Gaza's Civil Defense Agency has reported several strikes on the territory after the announcement that Hamas and Israel have agreed to a ceasefire plan. U.S. President Donald Trump announced that the two sides had reached an initial agreement that includes swapping hostages and prisoners overnight. Israel has killed more than 67,000 Palestinians in Gaza since October 2023 and left most of the population in the territory living in displacement camps. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu launched the latest war on Gaza after Hamas led attacks that killed more than 1,000 people in southern Israel on October 7th. More than 250 people were also taken hostage by Palestinian armed groups who said they were fighting back against a decades-long Israeli occupation and blockade over their lands. James Elder from the UN children's charity UNICEF recorded a video of the pause in Israeli bombing of Gaza soon after the news of the ceasefire began to spread.
Is this the moment? It's incredibly quiet outside. It's the middle of the night. People haven't heard yet, but also it's incredibly quiet from the skies. Come on!
Gold is trading at $4,037.58 an ounce. The rand is at 17.14 to the dollar, 23.98 to the pound, 19.95 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $66 exactly a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident on the N12 West. It's right near Rondebolt Road in the Boksburg area. It's causing delays. Please be on the lookout there. While traveling on the N3 North, we've got a stop-and-go situation between Van Buren Road and the Baklu interchange.
And in your sport, the Proteas women take on India at the Cricket World Cup at 11:30 this morning. Egypt qualifies for the FIFA World Cup alongside Morocco and Tunisia. And All Black wing Imoni Narawa out for the rest of the year with a punctured lung.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with scattered afternoon showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 28 and 31 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Management at Fort Hare University in the Eastern Cape has suspended all operations following a violent student protest.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
7 minutes after 8 o'clock, when it comes to the academic world, in the month of October, on the 9th, Muteo, what would be foremost in the minds of people in the academic world at this time of the year?
Final exams.
Right?
Yep.
Now we have all operations at the University of Fort Hare in the Eastern Cape halted, suspended. This follows a violent protest, and there have been lots of issues at that university throughout the year. But maybe I'm too old, hey? Maybe I'm over 50 and I live in my ivory tower. I'm talking to you from my air-conditioned studio in Sandton. Maybe I don't get it. Help me out. Help me understand. Help me understand why it's okay to burn down the very institution you've spent years, presumably lots of money, studying at, learning at. The institution that is the one guarantor of your future success. Help me understand that you'd be so incensed about SRC nominations. It's okay to burn the university down.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Am I the drama? Am I the one who's out of touch, who doesn't quite know these things? Muteo, when you were at varsity, did you see protests?
Yeah, I participated in a few.
What were you protesting about? What were you
It
upset
was
about?
normally being financially excluded, the high cost of higher education, things like that, accommodation. But the problem with burning the very things that you want to use going forward is people tend to not back your cause sometimes because it's now distorted. The message is distorted. But I think with some of these protests, there are criminal elements because it just doesn't make sense why students who use a library or an administrative office would want to see it up in flames.
Criminal elements from where? From outside the institution?
Yes, probably from outside.
That gain what from the burning down of a university?
Well, if we burn down that block, Bongani, and
then we'll tender to rebuild it.
Things like that.
Goodness me. Your thoughts. Let's talk.
Let's talk.
We're listening.
We're also talking, of course, from what's gone viral. What do you do with the artwork from your little bundles of joy? Jadine, you're in Midrand. You've got a suggestion?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, we can, yes.
Yes. So I have that problem. My kids bring home, especially at the end of the year, we get given everything, and my mom heart just doesn't have it in me to throw it away. So we found a fantastic lady called V from a company called Precious Art, and she actually photographs all of the images and then puts it into a coffee table book, and then also takes the art and recycles it afterwards if you want to. So we've got now coffee table books for our girls that we'll keep, and obviously when they have children, they'll be able to kind of show them their artwork right from preschool all the way up.
Oh, wow. Who's the lady? V.
Her name is V. Yeah, the company is called Precious Art, and like I said, it's just been such an emotionally nice thing for us to do because we don't have to throw anything away. It's all still there, but it's professionally photographed, so we don't miss any details either.
I hope they're on Instagram. I'll certainly be looking at that, Jadine. Thank you very much for that idea. Steve, you're in Alberton. You want to respond to the violence at Fort Hare?
Yes, Bongani, thank you and good morning to everyone. There's some of the things have got historical, points. Some of them have been mentioned by your colleague Muteo. There is also something that we must also acknowledge, the fact that some of, and I'm speaking for myself of experience, some of the guys who might not have studied and been partying and roaming around, misbehaving, and all those things, when it comes to exam time, they're not prepared. So they will use any smallest issue that may be an SRC guy who wants to be in power or something that can trigger so that they can avoid writing the exam to fail and they might not qualify for the next pass for next year. These are things that I think our university management must also have an internal intelligence to look at those things and look at them to avoid and maybe support those people who might trigger such a violence. I have experienced it. I'm sure some of the things that Muteo has said also allude to such experiences.
Yeah.
You find some of us, we're not ready, either because from home we are not being supported or some things, and we needed something just to make sure no one writes the exam. And
the difficulty, sorry there, Steve. So the difficulty is that what do you come back to when all of those issues are resolved? Because if you burn down the very institution that, as I say, is likely your one guarantor for a good future, what else will you have in the end? Appreciate that call.
EWN Traffic.
All right, up next we speak to Chief Mandla Mandela, the grandson, of course, of the global anti-apartheid icon, about his experience under Israeli detention. In the meantime, this Eyewitness News traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand.
Well, Bongani, we've got an accident on the N12 West near Rondebolt Road. Delays as you come out of Snake Road. There's also queuing traffic. In fact, bumper-to-bumper traffic along the N3, both directions between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange, and that's due to the roadworks that are taking place along this route. Please be on the lookout there and drive with care. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like a businesswoman on the way to the airport after sleeping through her alarm. Bags in the back, boarding pass on the dashboard. She prays she'll make her flight.
Hope I make it.
The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's the potential closing of a big deal. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
It's 8:15 onto this now, just a day since the return of Mandla Mandela and 5 other South Africans who were detained by Israelis following their humanitarian mission attempting to deliver aid to Gaza. After 6 days in an Israeli prison and intense diplomatic pressure for their release, Mandela joins us now to explain exactly what he experienced. Very good morning to you and thank you for your time. Welcome back home.
Thank you and good morning to all of you in studio.
What happened? I mean, just can you take us back to the moment you were on board this global Sumud flotilla on this humanitarian mission to when it was stormed by the Israeli forces?
Well, on the day of interception, we had anticipated that they would be intercepting us because the night before they had come to do their own analysis as to how was the formation of our boats. So they came on to closer to our Alma boat, which I was on with Tiago, Greta, Yasmin, and others on the boat. And they started circling and isolating our boat because of the big gaps between the boats. So we knew that would be their strategy when we became intercepted, that they would want to isolate each boat, intercept it, and then go to the next boat. That is exactly what unfolded on the day of interception. They came and we had tried to better our position as the flotilla. So we had closer boats, and I think 3 of our boats attempted to block their interception, but they were not successful. So once they came onto Alma, they came with 2 speedboats on each side and onboarded our boat. We were already on the upper deck with our hands up so that we can clearly be seen. We are not carrying any weapons with us or anything that would pose danger to them. Once they had seen that and they were also comfortable, they then took us one by one to search us, and we had to take off our jackets or even the fanny packs that we had because we had our passports and power banks, and some of the people had wallets. So they took all of that so that we had nothing on us except what we were wearing.
Yeah.
And once everyone had been checked, they took us back to the lower deck and made us sit there. So we sat the entire night in the boat. In the morning, we then sailed to Ashdod port. We went right through the day, where we were not allowed any free movement. Only when it was necessary to go to the bathroom, they allowed us to go to the bathroom, escorted by one of the Navy soldiers. On Ashdod, upon our arrival, we were all clear that there'll be no justice on stolen land. So all the brutality unfolded. We were handed over to real thugs. And I mean, Israeli police are absolute thugs. They snatched Yasmin and another Turkish comrade of ours, Kubra, who were just sitting and speaking to us, and they just pulled them up and harassed them.
He smacked
put
them.
cable ties on them. They harassed them and put cable ties on them. So all of us were now tied with our hands on the back, very tight with cable ties. They started bringing us onto the platform one by one. Greta was the first to be taken off the boat, and you would have seen footage of how she was harassed and stripped of her dignity. But that took a long process for us to be brought to the platform. I think I was one of the last people with Emma, an MP from France, as well as Ibrahim, also from France, with a number of Libyan delegation that had also arrived. But the treatment on the platform, we were made to sit on the concrete with our hands tied on the cable behind our backs. We sat almost, I think I was there from about 10. Some comrades must have been there from about 7. And we stayed until 4 in the morning in just open air, cold concrete on the floor. And the more we tried to change positions to lay down, they refused and said, we must sit down, sit down. And I even said to them, no, you mean we must sit up. The treatment was totally awful. Sure. But they sent one of their best, that being Ben Kuver, to come and address us. And we were all anticipating, an intellectual engagement with him. And all he could say is, you supporters of baby killers. And we all laughed, and everyone started shouting, free, free Palestine. And he got very frustrated and angry about that. But the unity on that platform amongst all participants was something remarkable. And I think many of us came out of that very proud, because we understood well that people united can never be defeated.
Mandla,
so
if I may come in there, I understand at some point they said this was all a publicity stunt to benefit Hamas. They called you a terrorist. Did you respond to them and say, even my grandfather used to be called that?
Once we got to prison, we were labeled with so many. They told us that we were terrorists. Even Ben Guvira himself on the platform said we were terrorists, and many responded, you are the terrorists, you the one killing babies. But some of the soldiers, once they knew who I was, they said, you are a terrorist. And I said, yeah, we know that very well, because it is always said that one's terrorist is another one's freedom fighter. You labeled my grandfather a terrorist. He was a terrorist while he was the president of the Republic of South Africa. He was only taken off the CIA terrorist list in 2008. Way after his presidency, exactly 5 years before he passed on. So labels don't faze us. We continue to be resolute in our conviction, and we will continue to remain steadfast and resilient in support of the Palestinian struggle.
Would you do it again?
Absolutely. These were my words when we left, because as I was the last one to be taken out. And this is how they wanted to send a message to South Africa. Because of our case to the ICJ and the ICC, they made sure that South Africans were not given any privileges. I was denied an opportunity to shower my entire 6 days while I was there. So I was kept lasted. They knew that Tiago also wanted to be taken last, and he had told them that he would not be released until everyone is released. So they took him first, and we released the other cells. And when I was leaving as the last prisoner, they said to me, what happened to you? Your grandfather was a good man. And then I turned around. I said, you know what they say, an apple doesn't fall far away from the tree.
Yeah.
And I then, with determination, I said to them, we will be back. This you can count on. We are already, as the steering committee and our command center, putting together a analysis report of our experience. And then we are putting next week, Monday, a draft on strategy and tactics for the next mission. We are challenged in terms of the season because the sailing season has come to an end. It will open again in May next year. But I think we can also look at a global march to Gaza, just as we did when we flew to Cairo and attempted to get to the Rafah border crossing. We can look at other countries, maybe through Jordan or through Lebanon. It's to be debated and discussed what are the possibilities.
All right.
But we will certainly be going back.
Appreciate your time. Chief Mandla Mandela there, the grandson of the global anti-apartheid icon Nelson Mandela. Wouldn't he be proud?
702, The World View.
With Adam Gilchrist.
Let's catch up now with news from elsewhere in the world. Adam Gilchrist, let's start with this attack on a festival in Myanmar. The army using paraglider bombs.
Isn't that astonishing? Literally a guy strapped to a paraglider suit, dropping bombs on a festival where families had gathered for all the fun of the fair. It was, though, both a Buddhist festival and an anti-junta demonstration. As we know, Myanmar is ruled by a military junta. The army is in charge. According to official figures, 24 people were killed and close to 50 injured. But one of the organizers of the festival suggests it was more like 40 people who died and 80 more were injured. People were alerted as the paraglider approached. They thought something was up, so a third of the crowd managed to flee. But literally, this guy was just dropping bombs on top. It has become a thing, though, because of international sanctions. Myanmar finds it difficult to get planes and helicopters and parts for planes and helicopters. But they are backed by Russia and China, and apparently paraglider terror and devastation have become a thing. They've become military operations in that country.
Gosh, talking of military operations, Adam, tell me about the National Guard in Chicago.
It's sort of the flip side, isn't it? How many American presidents can hail a success on the international stage? That's certainly what Donald Trump is doing with a peace plan for Gaza. And then at home, that's where the difficulties are. I don't know if he would admit to that, but certainly the way things are in Chicago now, following in the footsteps of Portland in Oregon and Washington, D.C., and threatened in New York and Baltimore, I think is another one. The National Guard troops from Texas have arrived on the outskirts of Chicago. I don't believe they've gone into the city just yet, but this is under the orders of Donald Trump because he described Chicago as, quote, a killing field, a hellhole, and the murder capital of the world. In fact, officially, violent crime has halved in Chicago in the last 10 years. It's even downturned in the last year or two. But then that was true of Washington, D.C. as well, and yet troops were sent in there. And I guess that's one of the things. If you say there's a problem, you send in people to sort it out, and then lo and behold, they solve the problem that wasn't there. How do you prove that what you did was wrong? Anyway, the Democrats are absolutely having a go, and the mayor of Chicago, how's this for a description? He described Donald Trump as a sick, brittle, insecure human being.
Yeah, true word was spoken, Adam. Now tell me about what I imagine would be Goldilocks' favorite competition.
Yes, the World Porridge Championships. And certainly in Scotland, it's a favourite. But won this year, in fact, first and second had nothing to do with Scotland, won this year by a Norwegian, and an Australian came second. So what's gone wrong with Scottish porridge after 32,000 years, more or less, since we first started putting oats in water and maybe a little bit of salt? Well, fast forward to now, and Sven Seljum is the winner of the World Porridge Championships. It is Scottish. He is not. He's Norwegian. But he's calling for an oaty revolution. So this is the Norwegian who's basically triumphed over Scotland's national dish. Remember Heston Blumenthal creating snail porridge? Well, Sven Seljum reckons the ideal accompaniments for porridge are caviar, dried fish and sour cream. Yum? Maybe.
I'll take milk and sugar. Thank you very much. We'll leave it there for this morning's World
Hang
View.
on.
EWN Business.
The end of an era at Dis-Chem, Muteo Khwaripa. Good morning.
Morning again, Bongani. Dis-Chem's Saul Saltzman has resigned as executive director after 19 years with the company. He will, however, remain on the board of directors as non-independent, non-executive director. Saul Saltzman's exit marks another phase in the gradual loosening of the Saltzman family's operational control over Dis-Chem. Founder of Dis-Chem, Ivan Saltzman, stepped down as CEO in June of 2023. Co-founder Lynette Saltzman stepped back from the board in 2022 to focus on operational roles in the company's beauty division. The changes reflect a shift away from a family-run management structure, with Rui Hare now the CEO of Dis-Chem.
BMW shares falling.
Yeah, not the best of times for BMW, especially this week. BMW's shares fell by about 8% on Wednesday after the car maker cut its 2025 earnings forecast. This is due to delays in the US and German customs refunds. BMW now expects pre-tax earnings to go down slightly this year compared to the previous forecast from 2024. Now, delays in customs refunds led to halved expectations for free cash flow at the car maker. Sales in China were also down, despite rising sales in Europe and the US. Now, BMW will publish its full quarterly results on November the 5th. According to NAMSA, now back home for the first quarter of 2025, BMW held about 40% market share in South Africa's luxury car market. And of course, as reported earlier this week, they had a big recall of more than 12,000 cars for a defect.
The rand looking pretty good.
Yeah, a big fight back from the rand, especially against the dollar. 17 rand 16 cents now against the US dollar, 19 rand 96 cents against the euro, and 22 rand 99 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $4,000 an ounce, while platinum is at $1,660. Brent crude at $66.23 a barrel. That's your morning business. Stephen Grotes with more this afternoon.
Straight to the news desk we go. Sfiso Zulu, good morning once more.
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. Some tax experts say SARS could make good on threats to disclose former PRASA boss Lucky Montana's confidential tax information amid a heated public dispute over his tax debt. The unprecedented ultimatum comes after Montana accused the agency of fraud. He claims tax officials drafted a fake court judgment ordering sequestration proceedings against him. This relates to his personal tax affairs, where he's believed to be more than 50 million rands in arrears at SARS. Nokukayam Tambo has the story.
SARS gave former PRASA CEO and MK Party MP Lucky Montana 24 hours on Tuesday to withdraw allegations that the court order that led to sequestration proceedings was fraudulent. A sequestration application allows a court-appointed trustee to temporarily take control of a person's assets until they've paid money that's owed. In a statement this week, SARS disputed Montana's claims of maladministration, abuse of power, and a politically motivated witch hunt. Tax executive at ENS, Charles de Vet, weighs in.
Typically, it's not something, but when it has developed to this level and there are false accusations being made, then the law did contemplate circumstances like this where they could in fact go to press with as many details as they like.
It's understood the debt relates to capital gains tax arising from the sale of 2 properties. Nogukanyam Dambo, Eyewitness News.
Patriotic Alliance Deputy Leader Kenny Gunene says he's here to stay following his reinstatement as Johannesburg Transport MMC. Gunene returned to government earlier this week following his resignation from the City Council in July. He had stepped down from politics after being found at the home of suspected underworld figure Katiso Katie Molefe during a police raid. Molefe is in custody currently for allegedly orchestrating the murder of Opa Sifoka, also known as DJ Sambo. Gunene spoke about his reinstatements on the sidelines of a service delivery program in Soweto yesterday. Alfred Mushwana was there.
After Patriotic Alliance Deputy Leader Kenny Gunene resigned from the Johannesburg City Council in July, no one was appointed to replace him as the MMC for transport. This is because the ANC wanted to fill the position with someone from a different party, while the PA insisted on appointing one of its own councillors to the position. Even after Gunene's recent return to the council, there was some resistance to reappointing him as as MMC for Transport. But now that he has been reinstated, this is how he expresses his joy.
I am back!
Kunene is now the PA's Johannesburg mayoral candidate for next year's local government elections. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Soweto.
The Basic Education Department says it has initiated a review of systems behind its employment initiative after setbacks and delays disrupted the recent stipend payments for education assistance. Thousands of candidates were affected by the delays, which officials attributed to challenges in verifying attendance registers and processing payments through implementing partners. Minister Sivyo Kwahube says systems are in place to solve the situation.
The department, together with our partners, we are reviewing the program's internal governance to ensure that the program is adequately resourced, properly supervised, and supported by reliable systems. Going forward, the BEI program will be a standing item in all our high-level meetings to ensure that there's timeless reminder that is sent to all schools to remind them to upload their attendance registers on time.
And organization Equal Education Law says prevention work needs to be prioritized in relation to child abuse cases. Between April 2024 and March this year, the South African Council for Educators handled more than 600 cases of unprofessional conduct, including instances where teachers assault children. This resulted in 36 educators being deregistered after being found guilty of committing sexual violence offences towards pupils. Child protection expert Danielle Al-Nafad says that investing in preventative lessons will help children in more ways than one.
Some of the most important work being done is unfortunately the most underfunded, which is prevention work. The trauma that's been inflicted on those children can't be undone, and also just from a resource perspective, it's incredibly difficult and expensive to respond to incidences of sexual violence in a country where it happens so often.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with showers expected today. The temperatures will peak at highs between 28 and 31 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N12 as well as the R24 West between Edenville Road and the Kilulis Interchange. Roadworks are taking place along this route. While travelling on the Mark 1 South, we've got some delays reported just as you come out of the Baklu Interchange towards Glenhove Road.
The top story this hour, some tax experts say SARS could make good on threats to disclose former PRASA boss Lucky Montana's confidential tax information amid a heated public dispute over his debt.
Before a masterpiece takes shape, there's a single line that starts it all, until every curve and every angle reflects the clarity of a single vision. And only then does inspiration take its final form. The all-new Audi A5, designed to inspire. Starting from $14,499 per month with a guaranteed future value. Visit audi.co.za or your nearest dealer for more. T's and C's apply.
With OUTsurance Business Insurance, you can protect your business and reward your cash flow. Switch to OUTsurance Business Insurance and you could get an out bonus of up to 10% of your paid premiums back. For law firms, real estate agencies, computer services and other industries, OUTsurance Business Insurance are trusted experts in insuring your business. Get a quick and easy quote today. Call 08600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za. A licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's and information online.
At Anglo American, we mine more than minerals. We mine possibility and progress with purpose. For over a century, we have been part of South Africa's story, investing in our country's potential and unlocking opportunities together. This year alone, through our Kumba Iron Ore business, we've invested 25.9 billion rand into South Africa. This includes infrastructure development, education and healthcare, community upliftment, and more. Follow us on our social media channels, Anglo American South Africa, and join the conversation. Anglo American, mining potential, building beyond.
This week, 6 to 10 October, is International Customer Service Week. Catch 702 in conversation with MTN on 702 Drive with John Perlman. They'll be unpacking how they're transforming the customer experience. From fighting fraud to simplifying services and fixing frustrations, MTN is listening, learning, and making moves that matter. Don't miss it. Friday on 702 Drive with John Perlman. MTN, today we make moves.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Hi, Bongs and team. I hope you're all doing well. If there's one skill that no one could literally ever take away from me is being good at presenting. That is a self-taught skill that I taught myself, of which I had to now grow the skill by becoming an MC because I failed to get TV presenting gigs. So that is something that literally no one, when I say no one, I mean nobody. It's a piece of from Deep Sleuth.
And the team, it's Bradley and Runback, man. Bongani, what I know the best is to wash the cars. I've got 2 cars. On Saturday, when I'm off, I've got all equipment. All chemicals that are required. I'm telling you, one of my neighbors, now already, she's a client. She's no longer taking her car to the car wash. She brings it to me, and then I wash it. And I don't even ask for payment, but she just pay me. I just pay me good, because she can see that, this car is spotless. Bradley and Runback, nice show as always. Happy Thursday, guys.
EWN Sport.
Cindy Paluta, it's all to play for at the Women's Cricket World Cup today.
It is. It's such a big game today for our South African women, and we just wish them the best of luck. They're taking on the unbeaten India at 11:30 this morning. Nadine de Klerk says the pitches are really tough to bat on.
The tail enders or the back end batters has been in quite early, so it's just about adapting to the conditions and building a partnership with whoever's in there and try and take games deep. It's not necessarily been 300 plus scores, so I guess it's about just scrapping all the runs you can, try and get to a competitive total, and then obviously back our bowlers to defend that.
Yesterday, Pakistan let their game with Australia slip away. The Aussies were 76 for 7 at one point, went on to win by 107 runs thanks to Beth Mooney's match-saving knock of 109. Egypt is the third African side to qualify for next year's FIFA World Cup in the USA. They beat Djibouti 3-0 with 2 goals from Mo Salah. While at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup, South Africa's been knocked out in the round of 16, losing to Colombia 3-1. Manchester United co-owner Jim Ratcliffe says he wants to give manager Ruben Amorim at least 3 years to prove he's a great coach. Next month, Amorim would have been at United for 1 year.
We have to be patient, and we have a long-term plan. It isn't a light switch. You can't run a club like Manchester United on knee-jerk reactions to some journalist who goes off on one, every week. He's a good guy. Ruben, he needs to demonstrate that he's a great coach over 3 years, because football's not overnight.
In the United Rugby Championship, the Sharks are away at defending champions Leinster on Saturday. The Sharks have lost 1 and drawn 1, while defending champions Leinster lost to the Stormers and Bulls in South Africa. Lucanio Am feels Leinster's results are not a true reflection of how good they are.
It's still the beginning of the season, and they've started away and we've also started away. We know playing away from home is, it's tough, especially at this level. And, we know they are a quality side. They are champions for a reason. The log positioning for us doesn't really mean a lot where they're at, because we know what they're capable of.
And All Black winger Imoni Narawa will miss the rest of the season after puncturing a lung in last month's win over the Springboks at Eden Park. He suffered the injury in the opening 5 minutes of the match in a contest for the high ball with Andre Pollard. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
In Africa, we say the chameleon looks in all directions before moving. At Plus 94 Research, we understand the importance of careful consideration. By analyzing comprehensive data and diverse perspectives, we help you make informed decisions that stand the test of time. Don't leap without looking. Move forward with insight and precision. Plus 94 Research, the science of decision making.
Enjoy the thrill of the Soccer Punches Challenge, Weekend Edition, an all-new platform from Hollywood Bets. You stand a chance to win a share of the 5 million rand jackpot when you bet 5 rand or more on selected EPL matches over the weekend and correctly predict 10 out of 10 winning margins. Or chase the share of the 50,000 rand leaderboard prize. Entry is free. Let this soccer season bring sizzling success. Bet now.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is licensed by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
It's spring, SA, and here at DecoFern, we say it's time to say yes. Say yes to new friends. Yes to new adventures. Will you marry me?
Yes!
And definitely say yes to a few new things.
Welcome to DecoFern.
Say yes to awesome savings at the DecoFern Furniture Spring Sale with up to 35% off on outdoor furniture and much more. In store now or at decofernsa.co.za.
EWN Traffic.
8:45 on the nose. A final traffic update for this morning. Amo?
Well, Bongani, we still have got delays on the N3, both directions between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu Interchange. Roadworks are taking place along this route, so please be on the lookout there and be patient. If you're heading towards Melrose, delays on the M1 South between Marlborough Drive and Glenhove Road. There's also queuing traffic in Hyde Park along Jan Smuts Avenue. This is due to an accident near Bumpers Road causing some issues there. I'll have more updates at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
It is said that listening to Mozart could boost intelligence. So we at RMB bought this extended radio spot to give you 30 seconds of Mozart just to get some thinking done. That was nice, huh? Just some time to think. Well, that is precisely what we do at RMB. Invest in the time to think of smarter solutions for our clients. RMB. Solutionists love company. RMB is a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Huawei Watch GT6 Series, 2025's must-have smartwatch, introducing the king of power. Up to 21 days of unstoppable battery life in a sleek titanium and ceramic design that's as strong as it's stylish. The Trackmaster with 24/7 heart rate tracking, sleep monitoring, advanced health management, and the world's first cycling virtual power feature. Fully compatible with both iOS and Android. Get yours now from just 169 Rand a month over 36 months or 4,999 Rand at selected retailers. T's and C's apply.
To sell or not to sell, that's the question. Whether selling a car, bike, or boat or bakkie, WeBuyCars offers instant payment and a stress-free experience. Simply complete the form on webuycars.co.za for the best offer. Trading in or shopping for your next ride? Explore over 12,000 vehicles online or visit WeBuyCars in store. Whether buying or selling, head to WeBuyCars today.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for plumbers, electricians, and other tradesmen. Pumlani.
Switching to Outsurance was one of the best decisions that we've ever made. We needed business cover, over 15 million. Outsurance came forth for us. At Kani, we sleep better at night, knowing that we always get something out of Outsurance.
Switch to Business Outsurance, and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer FSP. TCs and information online.
Coming up
on the Clement Mandela Show
on 702.
Between 9 and 12 is the Clement Mandela Show. Good morning, young man.
Hello.
Okay, I'm not wearing a floral dress today.
Yeah, you're not today.
What's on the show?
Coming up on the show, start with the 702 open line. We'll once again reflect on what happened in the parliamentary inquiry yesterday. But between 10 and 11 o'clock, we do the Hanging Out feature. And today I'm hanging out with actor Gabriel Temudzani. Many people know him as Azwindini, which was the character he played on Mubango for over 20 years. At 11 o'clock, we do our Thursday dialogue today. I want us to discuss culture and its evolution over time. How do we balance cultural evolution and preservation? That's the show.
Clement Mangatela between 9 and 12.
In a world where everything is instant, some things are worth slowing down for. You took the time to build a life of distinction. Every moment, every milestone, every decision. At Indwe, we take the time to understand your world and craft insurance solutions to protect it. Because true peace of mind is the greatest luxury of all. The right insurance starts with a conversation. It starts with helloindwe.co.za. Indwe Risk Services is an authorized financial services provider.
When it comes to protecting your workforce, trust the workwear brand that has been protecting workers for over 150 years, Sweetall. Sweetall has overalls and uniform solutions for every industry, so your team is safe, comfortable, and ready to tackle any challenge. Visit our new Boksburg showroom, shop A1 Atlas Road, Westwood, Boksburg, or go to sweetall.com today. Sweetall, we never let you down. Superior protective workwear since 1871.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Daydream. I fell asleep beneath the flowers. For a couple of hours. On a beautiful day. Daydream. I dream of you amid the flowers. For a couple of hours. Such a beautiful day.
It's a spy from behind my giant robot's eyes. I keep him happy cause I might fall out if he cries. Scared of heights so I might pass out if he flies. Keep him on autopilot cause I can't drive. Room enough for one, I tell my homies they can't ride.
Daydreaming by Lupe Fiasco. The streets are calling. Are you gonna pull up? Back to the City is back, and Newtown is about to turn into a full-blown hip-hop takeover. So this Saturday at Mary Fitzgerald Square, Africa will be hosting the biggest urban culture festival. Over 100 performers, 20 DJs, 40 graffiti artists, skate parks, basketball showdowns, fashion stalls, and street food. And as the young ones would say, this isn't just a festival, it's a movement. We've got Rashid K, who is, of course, a hip-hop artist, but also Back to the City creative director, joining us. Rashid, this is just absolutely fantastic news. This is as big as they get, hey?
Yes, for sure. And at year 19, we've been doing Back to the City for 19 years, since 2007.
Goodness me. I mean, if you look back on 19 years, you blink and you miss it, hey?
Yo, it's been a crazy journey. We're here now. We're here.
Talk to me about Lupe Fiasco as the headline act. I mean, we're not talking just about a rapper, right? This is somebody who's a lecturer, who really wants people to understand the philosophy and, I suppose, the culture behind hip-hop.
Yes, he dedicated his life to hip-hop. He's now a lecturer at the university teaching rap. You know, that's how dedicated he is. And he's a Grammy award-winning artist. So he's like deeply rooted into the hip-hop culture.
How do you balance then a headline act like that, international stars with local heroes and those rising to put South Africa on the hip-hop world map?
Hey, it's a difficult one, but we managed to come up with a strategy on how to balance the lineup, because we have like 10 ladies, 10 newcomers, 15 mainstream, 5 underground, and 5 old school. So just to balance everything, to make sure that we cater to everyone that in the hip hop culture. So yeah. That's how we try to balance it.
Rashid, I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Brown Sugar with...
Yes, I have.
Do you remember the question? Here, I'm going to ask you the same question from Brown Sugar, right? When did you fall in love with hip-hop?
I fell in love with hip hop in 1995. 1995, yes. I think it was through Snoop Dogg. When I saw Snoop Dogg on TV, I was like, this guy is so cool. You know, the way he rapped, the way he dressed, the braids, everything else. You know, and I started like going deep into this hip hop thing. Yes, 1995.
How does hip hop tell your story?
Hip hop is like everything. Hip hop is life because it everything that happened is related to hip hop. Be it politics, be it recreation, be it relationship. Hip hop is connected in every aspect of my life.
So this year's theme is power by numbers. What does that mean to hip hop lovers and the festival goers?
It means we're the only hip hop movement left, you know. So we need all the support we can get from every element of hip hop. We need all the numbers because the power is in numbers. So whether you graffiti, whether you basketball, whether you fashion, whether you DJ, whether you rap or produce, we need every single number to back up this event.
For someone who's never been Back to the City, what could they expect?
Hey man, Back to the City is everything you can imagine that hip hop is, because it's not a rap concert. It's a hip hop festival with all the elements. That's where you find graffiti. That's where you find break dancers. That's where you find DJs. That's where you find battles, skaters, basketball. Yo, it's every element of hip hop you will find this Saturday Back to the City, other than rapping.
All right, tickets are moving fast. What's the message you want to send to those fans who want to come but haven't pulled up yet?
We've sold more than 15,000 tickets. They'll still be available at the gate on Saturday. We're limiting them to 20,000. So there's about just under 5,000 tickets left.
All right, Back to the City, back, of course, after 19 strong years. Rashid K there, creative director, and it's all happening at Mary Fitzgerald Square this weekend.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
Good morning, Bongani. My husband and I, our son really likes sculptures, and he makes a lot of Play-Doh sculptures. But what we do is we take a photo of it, and it automatically backs up onto Google. And then eventually, after taking hundreds of photos, Google then starts compiling it into a little album. And what is really beautiful to see is the progression. So with all those photos together, you can really see how he systematically improves because he continuously makes sculptures. So that's always a nice thing for parents to do is if they actually record what their child makes, you know, over time, accumulating so many artworks, it shows how they grow and develop and become better.
What's gone viral with Kabazela was exploring what do you do with those artworks your little bundles of joy have made over the years. Do you keep them? Do you at some point leave the sentimentality behind and get rid of them? I love the idea of turning them into a coffee book table, as we heard from one of our listeners a little earlier on. What have you done with yours?
Morning, Bongani. Morning, 702 listeners and everyone else. So I just want to give a shout out to 702, my daughter, grade 8. She has been on a job shadowing assignment from school, and she decided she wants to job shadow at 702. My goodness, the people there are the friendliest. The way they sound on radio is how they are. The producers are friendly, from Bongani's show right up to Regulator's show. The actual presenters, I only got to meet Bongani and Regulator. They are lovely. They are lovely. Thank you so much, guys. And a shout out to, what's his name? Clive Mwahi, because we organized through him. Thank you so much, Queen from Kibla Park. Thank you. Bye.
No, we met Queen yesterday. Of course, she was also here for the big interview between Mandy and Clement for The Deal, the launch of that book yesterday. And as she says, her daughter had been job shadowing with us. You see, we are human beings behind the scenes. We're nice people. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Morning bongs and 702 family. On sleeping in the car. Yo, that's the story of my life, eh? Every day at the office during tea time and lunch break, you bet I'll be sleeping in my car, having those naps and dozing off. For the simple reason that I simply cannot sleep when I'm at home. I struggle to fall asleep. I'm an insomniac. So I'm more active in the evening than I am during the day. Thanks. Mfundo here, Centurion.
Hi, Bongani, Khosen report. Friend took me to do some work and he stayed in the car sleeping, parking outside in front of a fence. So when I arrived back, I found him full of sweat. What had happened is when he opened his eyes, he saw the fence and he thought he's bumping the fence and he hit on the brakes and he was so scared that he was sweating everywhere. Sure.
Is that a chicken and egg situation? You're an insomniac and therefore you sleep in the car, or you sleep in the car and therefore you can't sleep at night? Right? Which way does it go? Love all the voice notes that have come through, all the phone calls. Thank you so much for always listening and tuning in. Our time is up, but we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning for the Friday edition of 702 Breakfast. It's 9 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Judgment is expected in the Randburg Magistrates Court today in a case involving Deputy President Paul Mashatile's former bodyguards. The 8 VIP protectors have applied to have their assault charges withdrawn.